fun, and you wander into it. But now that there's like a starting line and everything, like a pistol going off, I was freezing up a little bit.
200 episodes we just hit record at a random place.
And now it's just like
the first time we're like, okay, ready,
and
3,
go.
2.
I don't think the first one. I think the first one I vividly remember.
Do you remember the first episode we did?
Yeah, it was at 7:30, January 31st at 2011.
Get out. You remember that?
Yeah.
That's tremendous.
It was memorable. Well, I think it was supposed to start at 7 because I remember, but we ended up starting early.
I don't remember.
It was like in between 7 and 7:30.
What I did this morning, John. I'm serious. Like I sat at my laptop, I started working, and then I noticed it was noon, and then I worked on something else, and then you came over.
I got shit to do.
I didn't do like half the shit I needed to do today. But I did check out Pornhub. Do you know what really bothers me about porn?
Let's hear it.
The amount of times I go through this scenario. You hit play, you got to skip the 4-second screaming sound effect of chatterbait, yeah. And then it starts up, and then you got 10 more seconds of whatever their fucking logo is. And then it starts like, okay, nothing's really happening yet. Okay. And this always happens. This isn't all of them. Like, oh, ew, I walked in on my brother naked. This is so gross. And then you skip ahead a little bit just to see what it is, and then they're fucking, and then you're like, fuck, I missed the plot. So you gotta like rewind a little bit just to try and find like where that plot is, but you don't want to go through the whole plot because you got shit to do. And then you get to like the little bit of the plot, and then they're like, oh, we shouldn't do this. Like, this is wrong. And then they cut out a section. I don't know if that's the section they cut out because they want you to pay for the full amount to pay for the video.
Somebody's like, I really need to know what happens here.
Yeah, like you need the plot.
I need exposition.
They just jump into like the next thing, and you're like, that's not my Jesus. Sandwich education.
That was nice and embarrassing.
Was it really? Because
well, no, I mean it was funny. I don't know if Heather had ever seen that.
Has she ever seen our old stuff?
So I've tried to get her to watch things, and I'm pretty certain that she's never seen or watched anything. Like she's like, yeah, whatever. I don't give a shit. And so
sorry for those at home. I pointed at the ceiling in acknowledgement and understood that is my situation as well.
Yeah. So I think, like at first, I remember like it kind of hurting my feelings of like, oh, this is something that I care about, and now, and she doesn't. But then I found out it was probably a blessing that she's never heard or listened to anything.
She still likes me.
But she still likes me. And then the situation of how it came up and who was in the room made it extra weird.
How come?
And I kind of felt like...
I'm sorry, I didn't...
Kind of like a loser.
Oh, God.
But kind of not like a loser.
I didn't see it that way at all.
It was funny, but believe me, it was very funny. But it's like...
Do you want to enlighten the 3 people who might listen to this what the story was? Or you just want to leave it kind of ambiguous?
No, we could do that. So I was literally on the way out the door. I was leaving Jay's house. We had just been to his...
Yeah, it was my mom's memorial.
It was like leaving your mom's memorial. We ended up going to Jay's house after it was done. There was a girl that I had dated a long time ago was there.
I'm not laughing because it's fun. I'm just laughing because it's like, oh, that's so stressful.
So I had an ex that was there with my wife.
My wife,
which it all ended up being okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't seen Sarah
in
a really long time. I don't know if like the last time that we had even spoke at all was like via email a very long time ago.
A very long time ago.
Okay. It was like 2010-ish.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was around the same time as the first podcast.
Wow. Yeah.
It was like the last
January 31st. No, December 31st.
It was around that time.
Did I already forget that? It doesn't matter. Please continue.
Yeah. So like that was the last time that we
even
like spoke at all or anything like that.
I had no idea.
But, you know.
That was like almost before Facebook. I mean.
So it wasn't like. It was like just. But my wife knew that she was going to be there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Heather she was fine with it.
If she wasn't, she hid it very well.
Yeah, no, she was fine, and she said that Sarah was very nice.
Same things were said on the other side.
Yeah, I think there was one part. Where Heather said that Sarah's eyes were brown, or were what's the hazel? She said that her eyes were hazel, and I just specifically because there was moments that I knew with Sarah, or I remember specifically talking about her brown eyes, and I remember just thinking, that's not true. Like, but I'm not going to take sides.
I was just about to say.
I'm not going to take sides there. I was like,
I
choose life. I choose life.
That is not an argument. That is a new war.
No, wife, you are wrong.
About my
my ex-girlfriend is correct. She's not going to listen to this, so it's okay. But I vividly remember thinking like, and I remember I looked right at Sarah and I shook my head. I just went, no. And then I just kind of let it play out. I just let it die out.
Does that kind of knowledge, because that's an amazing ability. Let's be honest.
What?
Like the amount of people who would go, nope, they're brown because like me, like for the longest time, I have to argue because if I know a fact, I mean an indisputable fucking fact, right? Like if you're like Kurosawa never did any samurai films, and I'd be like, hold up, Skippy.
You were all the way wrong.
Let's talk about this. Like I have to interject. I feel like there's like a duty or something. There's like a fucking cosmic force compelling me to interject, right? So what you did was so not only kind and intelligent and thoughtful,
no, dude, that was survival.
but self-preservating.
Yes. I'm related to all of the other Johns in the past that didn't say that their ex-girlfriend was correct, even to their wife.
Yeah,
I'm related to all those cowards.
I don't think that's cowardly. I think that's extremely smart.
No, well, it's so the reason is very specifically is because there was a song that I would reminded me very much of Sarah that I would play often. It's literally called Brown Eyed
Love
Girl.
Shack. Oh, yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. It was called Brown Eyed Girl. That like
Rock Lobster
was like a big song that her and I would listen to all the time.
Yeah.
So hearing Heather say that, it was just like, hey.
No. I believe Van Morrison has something different to say about this.
It ended up. It played out. It was fine. But so I think
time passed. Let's move.
Everything was fine.
Yeah,
it was really cool. We ended up coming back to your house afterwards.
That was nice.
It was nice
for the most part.
My brain was shutting down.
Oh,
I was so tired,
dude. So I know I've talked about this before on at least one of the shows, but the thing my friend Carmi taught me is a valuable skill that please take to heart and do this. We were at her house. She was having a game night, and this is her house. And at like 9:30, she kind of just calmly says, well, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Bye. And
at her own house.
And I thought it was the weirdest, most beautiful thing I had ever seen. Because you know how like when you find out something for the first time, like a truth, a fact, like something that's like, why did I never think of this before? Like it's absurd to you, like why that idea had never entered your head. That's what happened. And I was just like, oh God, if I'm not happy, I can just go away.
Well, but it also...
And like, no one's going to be upset by it.
Yeah, but it literally had nothing to do with... Like yesterday was not... Or Saturday was not whatever John wanted to. Like I literally... I walked up to you and I said, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
You know, is this something... Do you want to... Like, what do you want to happen? And you just kind of said, like, people can come over. And I'm like, okay. And then Heather and I were like, you absolutely were
It was very nice, but I'm okay. I will tell you if I need something.
I've stayed up for days.
I know.
Like, you seriously think, like, you seriously think that I'm going to be, like, completely thrown out if I have to stay up a little bit late? It wasn't a big deal. So we went. It was a good time. Not a big
I
deal.
suffered through it.
I suffered through
I didn't
it.
say anything until now.
God, I
You're
guess.
welcome.
I'm just saying, my brain was shutting down. If like
We all were, dude.
I know. I just, you know how like, I don't know. Like, like at times you felt, or I felt like I'm supposed to be on stage or something a little bit there, and like your brain's shutting down, and I'm like, I just don't want to do it. Can I just watch? Can I just watch everybody?
Yeah, I mean, there's a beautiful thing to that. That's like the grandparents' role at Christmas, right? It's like, I had my fun. This is kind of nice. Let's just watch.
Yeah.
Please stop crawling on me,
dude. There's times I remember like one of the funnest times when I was hang out with Heather. Heather and her friends are fucking like funny as shit, dude.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a night where like nobody knew me, and it was just her and her friends, and they were all fucking hilarious, dude. Because they had all like worked at what is it called? Like jobs. She was a waitress for like 15 years, right?
You get a thick skin from that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but like she's been hanging out with these people and then like partying with them afterwards for a really long time. She's
Sorry,
known them for a
that's
long
what
time.
that's what I meant. Yeah.
So they knew each other really well, and just to sit back and just watch them be
Yeah.
funny and laugh
Oh god, that
was
That's
really
fun.
really awesome. But yeah, then on the way out the door, I don't know how we started. I don't know. I started telling like embarrassing stories about myself,
yeah.
and then it eventually kind of led to a moment when I was like really really drunk, and
Oh, this is in the past, not that Saturday.
no, yeah, no,
I-
well,
well,
no.
I need
What-
to
what,
emphasize
no, so how we started everything was like
Yes.
showing this video of me being like super loaded,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to remember like Heather's dad drank himself to death, and then like a video of me being like super
Blitzed.
drunk, and I remember thinking like, oh boy,
Oh, good.
like
This
yes,
isn't
it's
a
funny,
trigger.
it's funny, and I'm laughing, and Heather was laughing,
yeah.
but at the time in my head I was thinking like, oh shit, like
You're connecting dots, and
yeah, I'm connecting dots because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like trying to like the whole night was. I was a little on edge. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't seem like I was on it.
not at all.
I was chatting with everybody. Dude, there were so many people I haven't seen in forever. Like I remember telling you like there's so many people that I feel like embarrassed that I didn't like. I don't know. I felt like I left on bad terms with. I wish I could have talked to Eric more. I didn't get to see him very much. Eric is like he's super cool. I really had a good time chatting with him. My mom thought I was Eric.
That was funny.
Yeah. I heard about it.
Thought
I didn't get to
Eric
watch it.
was you.
Yes.
Her face was awesome. You're not John.
I wish I could have talked to Eric more, but it just didn't happen. Like we ended up like I walked in and like there was chairs at the end and just sat down and his people just kept like
Yeah.
moving in and out. I was kind of hoping you were gonna come in, but you were busy,
Dude,
You were busy doing your thing.
Yeah, it felt so much like my wedding, the reception, not the wedding day, the reception we had in the backyard.
I didn't go.
I love you. You didn't miss much. It was nice. I
feel like
really
there's so many.
enjoyed it.
There's like so many huge events that you've done that I've missed. I
But
feel
are the
bad.
huge
They're like-
events more
yeah, but they're
important than
big.
the important ones?
Like I missed your high school reunion. I missed your college graduation. I
yeah.
missed your wedding reception.
I didn't. You were at the wedding.
Yeah,
There were 8 people at the wedding. I'm gonna remember that day epically fucking more than the day that I just sat around talking to people, and I never got to have a bite of food that I paid for.
Oh.
I wanted.
What kind of food
ribs,
did you have?
So we got Portillo's and Chili's.
Chili's,
Chili's the food.
like the restaurant.
Yeah,
Chili's? Oh,
because that's where Andy and I met.
well, you know that's where Heather worked for 15 years. Was
I
at Chili's.
do.
She loves that. Did she
Yeah.
work at Chili's?
Andy, yeah,
Yeah.
she was a hostess, a server, and a
Dude,
back of the house.
I'm gonna tell Heather as soon as I get home.
I thought we knew this.
I don't
I'm
know if
sorry.
Heather is aware of that.
That's interesting.
Heather's gonna lose her fucking mind. She
Oh, okay.
loves.
I'm sorry. I thought they already knew.
No, Heather doesn't come out very often.
She's a groundhog.
She like sees her shadow.
Ah,
and by
tax-
shadow I mean
tax season.
Yeah, and by shadow I mean taxes. Yeah. If there's taxes, I never see her. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's how we met because I would go to Chili's every Thursday and I hit on the cute the cute hostess,
I think that's awesome.
and she thought I was Scottish with bright cherry red hair, and she said our relationship is built on a lie.
It's a good start. I know. Good start.
I had like spiked up red, like cherry red, apple red hair. And I just spoke with an accent every time I came in just to fuck around with people because I thought it was fun. And one day I was a little late and she comes over to the table. She's like, hey, is the Scottish guy coming today? And my friends were like, who? You're like, the one with the punk, the Scottish punk. Who? And then I walk in, all the color had drained from my hair. And I was talking with a normal accent. She's like, oh. All right, you want to go on a date?
She said that afterwards?
No, she
like,
gave
all right,
she
now
gave
that
me
I know you're a liar, I guess you're on the list.
Well, and then the joke was like, oh, you had really nice, fun, big hair. And that went away.
Oh, Pelone.
Everything's a lie. I'm like, that's dating. Everything's a lie in dating.
Is it?
Have you ever gone on a first date and were openly honest?
Yeah, every time.
Really?
Dude, I don't.
I'm not
Hold-
saying.
hold on.
I'm not saying lying.
Let me think about this. I'm trying to because I haven't dated a lot, and I haven't had like a shit ton of relationships. Like I think my numbers are way lower than your numbers, so I can I wasn't very good at it. So I don't know. There's a part of me that wonders what would happen if I would have dated more.
What do you think would have happened? Because this is something I think everyone thinks about, but they're scared to actually say out loud.
To say they're the dating?
Yeah. To say oh man, I should have dated more, or I wonder what would have happened if I would have done a little bit more.
I don't think I was able to talk to girls until I didn't go on a date or be with somebody for years. And I think every relationship I had with a girl was platonic because I was in school with them and I was old enough to know better.
Well, what was the age difference between you and the girls you were at school with?
10 years.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, all right, I get it.
There's no way. And I had just gotten off dating a girl that was 10 years younger than me, and I'm like, yep, no way.
You do it one time.
I did it one time.
And then, because I did the same, not 10, but it was pretty close. And then I was like, cool. I never want that again.
I mean, she was really nice. She was very nice. But there was nothing to talk about. Really, it was somebody who liked, media and culture and stuff like that as much as I do. There was every single reference fell flat.
Yeah.
She had no idea what I was talking about.
That's a really big thing.
It was.
Not the nerdery is its own thing. That's a sapiosexual thing, right?
Well, I've never heard that before.
It means you're more attracted to someone that you can have an intelligent level with. I'm sapiosexual, okay? I could see someone who's very, very beautiful, right? And my brain just goes, but immediately, if someone starts talking to me about her top 3 favorite X-Men that never made it into a movie, well, I'm like, oh, well, hello, Sports
those people
Illustrated.
they're interesting. Interesting people are interesting.
I know, but mine is attraction. I become more attracted the more I can talk with someone.
I know Heather.
Sapio? I gotta look that up real quick. But please.
Heather, I remember her thinking that I was gonna when we first started dating and when we got married. She always thought I was gonna run off with a bigger girl. Bigger girl,
really?
Girl, my size, bigger. But the thing was when I would talk to bigger girls, they were just better. They had dude, let's just say if you're very pretty, you don't have to say a lot. Yeah. And you don't really have to try.
Yeah.
As a guy who was a bigger guy, you got to get really good at being clever.
You got to hustle.
Charming. You got to hustle. And I think bigger girls, same thing. They got to be able to say shit and stuff like that. So there would be times when Heather and I would go out and there'd be a bigger girl in the crowd, and she was just fun and all that stuff. Yeah. And Heather, and it's not that Heather isn't.
I was gonna say she is.
She's very much.
Party, yeah.
But she was my wife and or girlfriend at all these times, and would get jealous about stuff. And, when she sees me like having a really good time with the bigger girl and everything, I don't know, she would get jealous.
That's interesting.
Since she always thought I was going to run off with some bigger girl. Not that there's, but yeah, but it's essentially what you're saying. Like, you are drawn to the people who are saying fun stuff or intelligent things or funny. You know what I mean?
True.
It's just, I don't know, it's just natural. That's with anything. And it's not even like with the opposite sex or whatever sex that you're interested in.
Correct.
It's just whoever says interesting things, which brings me to Hilda's son.
Ryan.
Dude, I had a blast talking with him.
Isn't he great?
He is. So
he's smart as shit and he's funny.
He is. He's smart as shit. He's funny. We talked a lot of, okay, so am I allowed to talk about this?
I think so. Like, let's just be conscious of, because he leads a private life. And, yeah.
So he was sitting next to me most of the time that we were at the thing, right? And most of the time, like, I'd only met him once before.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And when I saw him, I kept thinking, like, man, he looks really familiar. But he was sitting down, and he wasn't saying much. And I kind of, like, I felt bad, like, oh, he'll just jump into the conversation if he wants to be a part of the conversation. Because, like, usually, like, you just kind of, you're looking at people's eyes, and you're trying to, like, gauge things and kind of push stuff along. And he wasn't. And I remember thinking, like maybe he's with somebody else, and he's bored. He doesn't really want to be here. And then when we were all standing up and talking by the bathrooms, it was probably awful place to put like those chairs and everything, by the way, like right outside the shitter.
Notice
like,
that.
As far as like layout design, like not the best, but
I mean, it's 1800s, 1700s layout,
yes.
I guess. But
yeah.
You can move the fucking chairs.
There's line of sight issues that you're supposed to be dealing with. No, it's literally called line of sight are called like if you could see the shitter, you're designing things wrong.
I'm sure there is.
So we're standing outside the bathroom.
I just remember a time when fucking Wendy's and you propped open the door and then ran away because there was a clear view to the shitter to the whole dining room.
Poor design, yeah.
Okay.
Not good. So
yeah.
So a gentleman walks up to him and asks, like, hey, how you doing? Is everything going good? And I hear him say, yeah, nobody's talking to me. I have nothing to really say. And I remember thinking, like,
oh my God.
I was like, oh my God, it's Ryan. Okay. I was like, and then I immediately remember, like, oh, it's Ryan. Okay. I'm like, okay. I remember. And I immediately picked up on the last conversation we had, which was we were talking about, it was Christmas time. And at Christmas time, he likes to watch movies that just make him feel happy. And that's what the Christmas movies are about.
Good memory.
Because we were talking about we were talking about, we like Christmas movies, but Christmas movies to him are like a totally different thing, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
So I started talking to him about it. He forgot who I was, and we reintroduced ourselves, and we started talking about, like, he was telling me about, like, all the stuff that he likes to draw, and he likes heavy metal. I'm like, dude, I like heavy metal. We're talking about new metal and everything. And, like, he knows all the cool stuff that I did, and, like, a lot of the bands that I liked, and, talking about whether Korn was, like, the actual first new metal. And he started talking about, like, drawing things. And like he's got like this really cool story that he wants to do, like how it's gonna fold. And I kept like doing references to Metalocalypse. John is amazing. I haven't talked to John in a very long time.
Isn't he just like he opens his mouth and he just inspires you to do something?
I stopped him mid-sentence and I just said, "You are amazing at asking questions."
Right?
I told him what's the guy from Hot Ones, Sean Evans.
I don't know.
I was like, dude, like Sean Evans has nothing on you. You are so good. He is so good. And even Heather said, like, John is great to talk to. He has awesome eye contact, and he's very good at having conversations with. He's awesome.
He always has been.
Yeah. And John immediately knew, like, the shirt that he was wearing. And he started asking him questions about, like, this particular type of, like, adult.
Has-been hotel.
Yeah, Has-Been Hotel. He was talking about that particular adult cartoons, and then we, like, rolled into, like, video games. Dude, we started talking about video games. I was pulling out like very like unknown video games from like PlayStation 2 and shit like that like I adored. Like was it King of Monsters? It might be King of Monsters. There's like one video game and he's just like, oh yeah, I love that game. And he started like naming off all the guys. And I'm like, dude, and like he remembered all the names and everything. And I just want to play video games with him.
Right?
If I could play that game again. And I told him like a personal story. I was like, dude, when I got out of the military, I was moving around a bunch, I had to sell off like almost my entire collection of movies and games to pay rent. And it happened so many times that I don't have anything left anymore. And I remember telling him like that was one of the games that I missed the most because you don't see a lot of them around. Like it wasn't a big game, but and it was him that was bringing it up. He's like, there's the games that nobody likes that I like that really makes me like this game even more. I don't know. I totally identified with that. Like I would sit there, I would go on YouTube and I would watch people play this game. Like that's how much, because you can't, I mean, there's only so many, you know. But anyway, I had a great time talking with him.
On that note, I'm working on something extremely slowly, so we'll be able to play it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, there's not a lot. I love PlayStation 2. Just PlayStation in general.
Dude.
I love Super Nintendo, but like there's emulators with all sorts. Like you can
yeah.
get all the Super Nintendo games.
No, but
getting some of the PlayStation 2 stuff.
You can get them all.
PlayStation 2?
Yep.
I don't know anything beyond that.
They're just harder to find.
But then again, when I was talking to Ryan, he's like, I felt like he was just kind of like having to dumb down his knowledge to talk to me. And I was totally fine with that. Because he knew everything.
He knows so much. It's intimidating because like I like movies, right? Mm-hmm. And then he was watching a movie here one day while we were working, and he was watching a movie I didn't know, and he goes, "Well, yeah, this movie is directed by Joe Dante," and I, for a quick second, I went, "Oh fuck, who is Joe Dante? Like where does he connect?" And he just started naming off all the movies, and I was like, "Oh my god, why aren't we hanging out more?"
Right?
Oh. Yeah, I mean he's funny as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's made his own comic books. Like he showed me his comic books. Like he has like an 80-page comic book.
Dude, that's baller.
It's
that's awesome.
great.
And you know what? And I don't know what it looks like, but I don't even care. Like, dude, if somebody did like a stick figure comic book, they had 80 pages in with story, dude.
Right?
We are best friends.
Right?
That is amazing. That is so cool.
I want him to keep doing more, you know? Like he has like this passion for it. He's just a good fucking dude.
He is a good dude. How old is he?
27?
27?
I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's a cool dude, man. I enjoyed it very much. I look forward to talking to him again.
That's nice.
Yeah.
He's going to be coming over more.
Well, he kept saying he hopes he gets to talk to me again. I'm like, dude, I'm at Jay's house all the time. I'm going to see you. It's going to happen.
What was really funny is he's kind of soft-spoken. No, not like soft-spoken, but he doesn't like speak up around other people much. So when he said goodbye to you, he was like, you know, my new best friend, like we were talking about this, and like he was telling his mom, it's like my new best friend, like we talked a lot, and you were like, goodbye, Ryan, and he turned around and he goes, yeah, like he was like,
I remember.
He was like throwing the horns up, and he was like, yeah, and I was like, I've never heard him that excited before. That is awesome. Cool. And then I love that he came back like 2 minutes later and said, I need to find shelter. I'm cold. It's like the word shelter is just so perfect.
Yeah.
Like,
give me shelter.
Like fucking Maslow's hierarchy of needs is just coming into play.
Yeah, my the third level of Maslow is like really failing me right now.
God, that's so great. So what else you been up to, man?
Work. I was sick for a really long time.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was super sick.
Chest cold?
Yeah,
flu?
I actually ended up going to the doctor, said I had influenza A. I'm like still when I wake up in the mornings, I'm just hacking up
no shit. Dude,
for
I'm
like
sorry.
the first
That
5-10
sucks.
minutes. And I got it. I'm pretty sure I got it when I was in San Antonio. So we haven't talked about that. I was in San Antonio.
Did you get tacos?
No tacos.
What the fuck?
Oh, no, but there were really cool things that we ate. So,
I love that. That's the only thing I can fucking imagine.
so I drove down there. I stopped in what the hell's the name of that town? Little Rock, Arkansas, on the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I ended up like because I never like really knew where exactly I was going to stop. I didn't get the hotel until I literally got in town and drove around a little bit just to kind of like check out where to go. Found a really good place that looked like it was cool. Stopped by and I'm like, I'm in town. I want a great catfish sandwich. And she's like, you don't even have to go very far. It's literally like next door. It was like one of the most popular like food restaurants in all of Arkansas. It was this place that was like literally right next to the hotel.
No shit.
Dude, it had like I had, oh my God, amazing food. The only thing I was upset about was like they had micheladas there for the beers instead of like local stuff. But like there was a blizzard coming in and it was dead. There was nobody there. So I ended up, there's a park in town, like a sculpture park. I walked down to the river. I saw the actual rock, the little rock is named after, and like read about all the stuff and everything. And there was like a playground there. There was like a 2-story slide that was like down this big rock thing. Dude, I'm like zipping down the slide.
I know you and slide.
Oh my God, dude. I'm zipping down it. I remember like standing there and being like, I'm a combat veteran and an architect, and I don't care. I'm zipping down this sumbitch. I flew down the slide. I know what I'm doing. If you do that, like that little jump and then like scoop right down. Dude, I zipped off the bottom. It was all rubber, thank God. Or I would have just torn my
ground.
Pants.
The ground was
dude,
okay.
I bounced off the ground.
You bounced.
Oh my God, because it was the rubber. It was like a the rubber playground thing.
Yeah,
just like slid and bounced right off across the bottom. I was just having a great time doing that. So that was and I had a great time there. I ended up like going to a local place. There was a guy who was in the Air Force. I told him I was going to see a graduation.
That's awesome.
I was seeing the graduation of, it's one of my friends' sons. She was in the Air Force. It was Crystal. Her son was joining the Air Force. I was like, so I'm very proud of him. I'm very, very proud of Dan. I remember like I lived with them for a little while when I was living in Colorado Springs. And I remember Dan when he was a little boy. I remember shot putting him across the room when he was little. I remember he got in trouble because his dad and I were like literally like doing the egg toss with him. Like you throw and then you take a step back, and you throw and you take a step back. And like we're literally I shot putted that kid like 15 feet across the room.
Dear CPS.
And it wasn't like, I know, and it wasn't something where we kept going. It was that like when we would catch him, his body would jerk forward and we catch him. And we remember thinking like, Dan, we can't do this anymore. And Dan lost his ever-loving mind. He was so pissed off he had to have a timeout.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God. And I have all these memories of him being a little kid and going on adventures with them and doing, like I would go with Fredo to go do bowling and going to arcades and stuff. And yeah, Dan. And I lived with them. I still have all the pictures that him and his sister drew. I'm going to make a book for him.
That is cool.
I'm going to assemble like the same thing that I did with your book. I'm going to do the same thing and assemble this whole like book together. And
I need you to know. I think I've told you a little bit about how I feel about that, but that book, I cannot tell you how that made me feel.
It was really fun putting together.
What was it?
Yeah, I originally wanted to do a poster of like little mini photos all over a poster, like a movie poster.
I like this so much.
But like this, like it's just a nice little coffee table book. It's like a good like memory starter
And
because you can
that's
open
what
up
it
the
is.
one thing.
That's exactly what I do. Is every once in a while I just go over there and look at one and go, oh yeah,
Just get all the moments.
I remember that.
Yeah, I didn't want to reach out to you if there was things that you had. I thought that I had most everything. I couldn't find them all.
Oh, you mean the
show images.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot.
I think you had them all.
No.
Oh, are you missing some?
Yeah, we're missing a bunch. But I think in some of the earlier ones, we didn't have everything.
We didn't do shit in the early ones. We had the logo, and we were very happy with the logo.
Yeah.
Like, we started doing the videos. I have all the videos.
Yeah, the show notes was like kind of like an extension of like what we talked about. And I remember like it was a nice, fun thing to do when I wasn't doing school stuff. I always enjoyed it.
And that's it. It was nice to do when we had time. And I think about it now, like as a marketing business, we were doing the right fucking thing from the very beginning. Like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to like hype up and do something else and create all these little things to advertise for it. Not just a commercial, but something that's just free, online, funny, but different than what you're releasing.
It was different every single time.
I know.
If we could have like packaged that, if you like literally could package the one new thing, like a new T-shirt every week of the show, the show graphic, that would have been fun.
I'll tell you this: if you and I had the time and a budget, just the time and the budget, actually not even the budget. Fuck that. The budget will come. Money always comes if you do it. If we had the time and the passion, we could launch this thing into the stratosphere. We could do something extraordinary with this. The problem is you and I both work and we have lives and families and everything else. That tends to go away.
I mean, we have our day that we get to do this again.
Well, again, I'm not doing this for $1. I'm not doing this for fame. I remember you and I having conversations about the last show, and we were like, what if we actually did this? What if we actually put our time in and did this? But then you were like, no, I want to be an architect. This is not what I want to do. I want to do this thing I've been working on.
Yeah. I mean,
and I was the same way. So
it's hard.
Well, and I don't like, dude, if I could podcast every day of my life, it'd be no fucking question. Of course I would do it. I like to talk.
I think it's fun to like memorialize conversations.
Agreed.
You know, do you have any of the other podcasts?
I have them all.
I would love to be able to get that from you.
I have them. I have to find them, but I know for a fact I have them all.
I would like to be able to get that from you because I enjoyed listening to them because it was like a diary. It was a moment in time and a conversation and all sorts of stuff. So,
I mean, that's been like my whole thing, my whole life is I've loved just shooting video and photos and recording audio because we're not going to have it all. Like, we're not going to remember it. We're not going to remember all these amazing little moments that were tremendous or fundamental or whatever. Like, that's what I did with my mom. My mom was very anti being recorded. Like, I brought the microphone out there, I set it all up, and she just shut down.
I think a lot of people get like weirded out when you put the microphone in front of them.
That's true.
We've had podcasts where we bring them in and we put the mic on them and all that stuff, and then they just freeze up.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe that's just bad timing. Like, if you would have just done it, just start talking.
So, I mean, but that's kind of what I did was I just brought my phone out and said, Hilda taught me something really cool years ago with photography because I shot second photographer for her, and I'm a video person. And she said, stop worrying about the production value because what's really important is the moment.
Yes.
And I didn't get that until she said it.
I've been trying to beat that in your head for decades, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, if I can't have it perfect, we can't do it.
Well, hold on. What you're talking about is something slightly different, I think. So what she means by this, and of course I'm paraphrasing someone who's not even here, so take that with a grain of salt. It's more important to get the smile of someone in the moment rather than to set up lighting so it looks good. Even if it's blurry, even if it's shitty lighting, even if it looks like shit, it's still more important to get the moment in time. What I think you're referring to is making art, like making short films or like anything like that, right? Something creative.
But I am talking about the production end of filming.
Correct.
Where like you have a director and you have a writer and you have all those things. But to just grab something, like, I don't know. Like, I don't think everything has to be perfect to grab it. I think you're going to get something good out of it, whether it's good or bad.
Good or bad, true. And when we first started discussing this, please realize I was coming off of grad school. I had a giant chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
I was working on film sets where it's like, that's what's expected, you know? And like anything less than that was not even thought about. So it was like basically it's like talking to you now when I say, hey, I want to do this little project, something very easy. And you're like, well, you got to get the permit. You got to get like ground floor. You got to do all this. And I'm like, no, John, I want to hammer wood to a wall. And you're like, well, hold on. You got to do this measurement. And I'm like, no, John, hold on. So like you and I have the exact same things going on in different realms.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And it's frustrating for the other person who just wants to put a piece of wood on the wall or turn a camera on and make a movie. While the other person's going, oh, fuck.
All we're doing is ruining it for everybody.
If we didn't have a show name yet, like if Buttertown wasn't a name, ruining it for everybody else.
Ruining it for everybody.
I love that. Oh, man.
So I went to San Antonio.
Yes. Did you get tacos?
Made it in town. I didn't get tacos. The very first place that I stopped was Rudy's Barbecue.
Rudy.
Rudy's Barbecue is barbecue that's only in that particular part. It's like in Colorado and Texas.
San Antonio barbecue is for fucking real.
It's a gas station barbecue.
Oh
It's
my
that's
God, I
how it
love
got famous.
that.
Now this one, it wasn't as good as some of the other places. It wasn't the best.
Okay.
But actually, my favorite meal that I had was we got to see Dan graduate. It was very cold out, so we couldn't actually go to the. They didn't have like an actual parade. But it's broken into 2 days.
Weird.
The first day,
yours wasn't, right? My memory's hazy.
Mine was supposed to be 2 days.
I remember it being hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was super hot. Mine was supposed to be 2 days, but the first day, when nobody came to get me, you guys came there, and nobody came to get me. I was supposed to.
What does that mean?
So you guys arrive at the visitor center.
Yeah.
Do you remember being at a visitor center?
Partly.
Okay.
Sorry.
You go to the visitor center, and then somebody's actually supposed to go to the dorm. Mine would have been the 331st Training Squadron, and say, Airman so-and-so, you're, people here to see you, and then I have to march there. And I get to see you guys. You can take me out and do whatever, and then I have to be back at a certain time. Nobody came to get me. I literally sat in my dorm waiting for somebody to show up, and nobody showed up.
Is that...
And you guys were all...
Was that our fault, or was that someone else's?
That was their fault. My dad lost his fucking mind. He was pissed. He was very upset.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. So when it was for us, it's just the day, what was it? It's like the day, I don't know, it's just broken up in between two. I only got the 1 day with you guys. With Dan, they have something where they do like a tap out ceremony.
Oh.
Where you have to stand at attention till somebody taps you out. And there's people who nobody comes there to tap you out and somebody else has to, which is kind of sad.
That's really sad. Yeah.
But the ceremony that they did for our Warrior Week. It's where they play the music and they give everybody their coins, and you get your pin, your U.S. Air Force pin. And I remember it was the exact same thing that I had. I remember I cried when I got my pin. It was really memorable. And so when Dan did, it got a little dusty in that place.
There's nothing wrong with crying. I don't think we, as men, we don't need to hide from the fact that we can
it's
cry.
It's supposed to be a joke, Jay.
I know it is.
Stop ruining things.
I just think so many people try to hide that.
It was a nice moment.
That's a beautiful moment.
And I got to meet Mike, who is Crystal's boyfriend.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know.
He's kind of a badass.
Oh yeah.
He's an actual living Medal of Honor recipient.
Ooh.
It's usually you have to die to get those things.
Yeah, I'm aware.
But he's in the process. He was actually telling me about the process.
The process of what?
It's a very political thing to get a Medal of Honor.
Is it?
He has a sponsor, and he literally has to follow around, and it's...
What does that mean?
There's they give you a book, they give you a book that's a few inches thick of all the rules to be a Medal of Honor.
If they're gonna make it that prestigious,
you're the poster boy for America.
Correct. That's what I'm thinking. Is you are
there's a lot of rules to it.
The person in the limelight that other people are gonna look up to and blah blah. You got to better fucking act.
He's an incredibly nice guy. Really cool, funny dude. He's kind of starting his own thing where he's doing something called Resurrection Ranch.
He's doing a what?
He's doing something called Resurrection Ranch, where he's taking guys who are elite fighters and having some sort of transition thing for them. So when they get out into the civilian world, they're not killing themselves. I remember when I got out, it's rough, getting out of the military. They give you TAPS briefings and stuff like that, but I don't know if you remember me getting out, but
I do.
It's hard. It's hard to do. And that was just for me. I was just, just some guy. These guys are elite fighters. He was telling me things he specialized in extractions. I remember he was telling me stories of pulling a sheik out of a 20-story building. The guy's done some crazy shit.
Holy shit. Which reminds me, when my cousin's in town in May, I want her to be on the show. And then we can talk to her. She's military.
Current?
Sorry. But some of her stories are very reminiscent of yours, being look, we got out. They didn't fucking tell us what to do. And they say, stop being what we just told you to be for 4 years.
Yeah. What years was she in?
To be honest, I don't know off the top of my head.
She Army?
Oh, fuck. Now I feel like an asshole. I want to say Marines, but I think that might be wrong. Army or Marines.
Did she get out recently?
No.
I enjoyed
but I
chatting
mean,
with her.
she's still extremely like you couldn't tell. You'd be like, oh yeah, you're still there. Like she's no, not mentally, but like physically, she's fucking hardcore.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes that's good.
It's
Sometimes
intimidating
that's bad.
to see my baby cousin look like a fucking MMA fighter, and she's funny as shit too. So it just makes it even better.
I don't know. Like I remember like when I don't know. There's like you get like is it chip on your shoulder? Mm-hmm. I mean, it kind of like goes back a little bit when I was, saying like at your mom's thing. Like a lot of those people, like I felt when I got out of the military, I felt like a loser. I was like, look at all my friends.
I remember.
I quit. I quit going to college and these guys, and I'm a loser. And I had to do this thing, and everybody else went on to do all this stuff, and they're living their lives, and I'm a loser in the gutter. So I think like a lot of the times people who get out of the military, sometimes they'll have that. Well, they'll have like a chip on their shoulder because they see like everybody else like went on with their lives, and like I'm just back to where I am. Like now I'm out of the military and I have nothing going on for me, and I'm in the exact same fucking place that I left.
Wow.
So that is a thing. Like,
yeah, no, that's extremely heavy to carry.
Like
you're
kind of you get chewed up and you get spit back out, and you're in the exact same fucking spot. At least that was my experience. Maybe I'm projecting, but anyway, I got to meet Mike. Mike's a great guy. My favorite meal that I had was when Dan got out. All he wanted was McDonald's.
Really?
He wanted dude. When you're eating there, like it's like the
I understand.
Gross. So gross. I got a picture of him with like schmutz coming out of the side of his mouth and just eating this burger. I'm like, buddy, you earned it. You're gonna have diarrhea like in a few hours, but you enjoyed it. So that was really cool.
Yay, dysentery.
His way they set it up, they got an Airbnb house with like a pool and foosball and a hot tub and like a little golf thing in a house. And like I know that when I didn't want to like go and hang out all over the place. I remember like my dad forced me to go to like you were there, Sarah was there.
Yeah.
Like I remember like it was like whatever my mom and dad wanted to do is what we did.
That's what it felt like. Yeah.
And like I was just getting dragged around, and I didn't want to have anything to do with that. Like I just wanted to like sit, not be in public. And the way that they set it up was like he went to the house and she bought him like pajamas and like soft pants, and he just lounged around the house.
That's all I would want to do.
Oh my God. It was like the fucking most genius idea. I would have loved to have done that. To just hang out and like eat whatever you want. You know? Oh my God.
Not have to be someplace at a certain time.
Yeah. I mean, they did have to be someplace at a certain time, but I mean,
you're
in public now, and now like you're in uniform, and you are constantly terrified that like somebody, because you're on edge the whole time. You're just getting yelled at all the time. Like they literally like remove you out of that, and like they got to hang out at the house. So I'm super happy I got to see that. The next day we picked up, they ended up doing an award ceremony. It was like they have new dorms, so the dorms that they're at are not the dorms we were at, which is funny because I remember when I was in the dorms, the old dorms were there before me. So now the ones that I am, they called it like the ghost town or some shit like that. Is where like right where he was, I could literally look across the street, and that's where I was.
Really?
That's where the 331st was.
331st. And
we ended up getting like Dan wanted to get like chicken at like what's it's not
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, so there's Chick-fil-A, and then there's the other one, Raising Cane's. He wanted to get Raising Cane's really bad. And we were at some place, and there was a townie, and the townie's like, I know you want to get Raising Cane's, but like you just graduated. And he's like, there's a place downtown that's like what like San Antonio is famous for. Like it's like the greatest fried chicken ever. I don't remember the name of it. But yeah, we drove downtown, like Crystal ordered it, and I drove downtown San Antonio at like the worst time to pick this shit up. We drove back to the house. Oh my God, it was like the best fried chicken.
It was
ever.
good?
Oh my God, the South has got their shit together when it comes to breaded stuff.
I remember like Chick-fil-A in the South was like the shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also Zaxby's. Zaxby's is like the heavy fried chicken. If Chick-fil-A is like lightly breaded, natural meat, Zaxby's is the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
It is like 3 pounds of breading on like a pinky worth of chicken, and it is fucking good. Man, I would go way out of my way for Zaxby's.
And so was that a chain?
Yeah, it was kind of like Crystal.
Yes. I wanted to get Crystal while I was down there, and it didn't happen.
Dude, it's White Castle, just slightly better. Literally,
I wanted to try it.
Same fucking menu.
I wanted to try it.
I get it. It is fucking awesome at 2 a.m.
Hey, dude, I get that.
That's it.
I get that.
I
wanted
not
to try
knocking
it.
it.
I wanted to try it.
Yeah,
I just wanted to compare the two.
I mean, like you have.
I'm
going to
get diarrhea regardless.
Yes.
So it was great seeing Dan graduate. It was so cool. I got to see I love seeing Fredo and Crystal's mom and dad. Like I love them so much. Like I literally have known them since I was a very small kid, like grade school.
How are they doing?
Ma's not doing too well health-wise. So it was really good to see her. And Dad is he's like a Terminator, dude. He's a Terminator. He's going to be in his 80s here soon. If he isn't already, he might be in his 80s.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's 10 years older than your dad. How old's your dad?
78 right now.
He's probably I think Mr. Mulberg is in his 80s already, mid-80s.
My dad was 46. Born 46.
46.
You're like, yes, everyone at that age was 46 once. Good job.
It was great seeing them. It was great seeing everybody. I loved it. I was real eager to just get the hell out of there because driving by yourself. I've been doing all my driving with Heather, and I've been really enjoying that.
Dude, solo sucks.
16-hour drive by myself. I wasn't looking forward to.
I will say, when you start off, it is the coolest thing ever. You're like, I got my audio books. I'm going to get some shitty food at a gas station. And then you get more than 5 miles away from your house. And you're like, fuck.
I mean, it's fun if you can stop and do stuff. Speaking of gas stations, I did stop at Buc-ee's.
Fuck yeah.
Okay,
What'd you think?
I get it now. Right? I was like, why does everybody like Buc-ee's? Dude, they got their marketing on point. I wanted all the things.
Uh-huh.
I had the beef jerky. I bought Heather a shirt. Oh my God, dude. All of
Did you get the beaver nuggets?
I did not.
Dude, they're raw, and there's a reason they have 12 billion bags in every store.
They are. I know they're building one here close to here.
Yes, I heard it was down in Joliet area.
I would gladly go down there and just check it out.
If they have the white chocolate covered beaver nuggets,
dude,
I will be opening.
It's amazing. I am very, very, and they got very clean bathrooms.
Dude, everything about it is phenomenal. And hands down, if you've never been to Texas, you don't know what advertising for Buc-ee's is.
Yes, it is so. I don't know who does it for them. I'd be surprised on what other projects they've worked on. That is.
I agree.
I've never seen anything that locked tight. And everything looked beautiful
and abundant.
Huge wide aisles.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not packed. They have
it's
all this room. You have more room than a Walmart.
Yeah, I agree.
But I feel like there's just as much. The way the space and everything was just really cool. It was really, really neat.
It never felt like a truck stop or gas station.
Nope.
It felt like a destination.
I really felt like it was definitely a stop. And I am very anti-corporate, all that stuff.
Yep.
I thought it was so silly. I've heard people talk about it. Check it out, dude. It is.
Right?
It is. It's cool. You got to go at least once. So when I went to go leave, I woke up at 1:30 in the morning because I'm not sleeping in my own bed. I love my bed. I'm used to doing that.
Yeah.
It's now been 5-6 days not sleeping in my own bed, and I'm like, fuck this. I'm gonna just leave. I'm just gonna leave it at 1:30 in the morning. I'm gonna beat traffic. And I might actually be able to get a little bit further. I'm like, maybe I can surprise Heather and I can get home. That was kind of something I was
kick the boyfriend out early.
Oh yeah, right. Wait, what? So I know that on the way I was going to stop at I wanted to stop at the Uranus Fudge Factory in Missouri.
I'm sorry, I've never heard of this.
What? Oh my God. it's like it's another like Route 66 attraction. And everything. I want to stop there on the way.
God,
and,
that's
everything
amazing.
I know. Oh, dude, the lines that they have there. Welcome to Uranus. Would you like us to pack your fudge? Oh my God, they have everything, dude.
Please tell me the guy was so tired of saying.
No, dude, they're
He's in it?
No, they're very funny.
Okay,
it's really
good,
cool.
good.
I left at 1:30 in the morning.
Welcome to Uranus. I love you.
I didn't tell you this. I don't know if a lot of people know this. I told Heather. I very, very close came to dying.
What?
Very, very close. So just north of Dallas at like 7:30 in the morning, I was driving, like traffic was starting to pick up because around 7:30, that's when rush hour starting. It wasn't, I had one car in front of me. I was in the middle lane and there was a dump truck in front of the car in front of me.
No.
And he had a damaged gate and he had hit a bump.
Oh God, this isn't Final Destination shit.
Yeah. He hit a bump and a shit ton of like
oh no
concrete dumped all over the road. And like I hit.
That's what you said in the group chat.
Did I tell you guys?
Yeah, but that was it. That's all you said.
Yeah. So concrete dumped all over the road. Like my left driver's side tire hit a piece of concrete the size of a basketball and like flew up. I remember just seeing it fly up in the air and like I hit all these other pieces of concrete and like it literally, I have no, like, it's very possible that somebody behind me died. I have no idea. I know that I got through it and I was able to drive off to like a tire place and I had to have like all my truck had steel rims, but they had to like bang everything out. I have no idea how my tire didn't blow. I had a massive bulge on my tires for where they should have like exploded.
Wow. Dude, you got the universe fucking like holding your balls.
Dude, yeah. Like I have no idea how that, because I was going like 80 miles an hour when all this happened.
You were going back in time.
I was 88.
It's what you just said, fucker.
80. If I had gone 8 miles faster,
you wouldn't have been there.
Then I'd be back in San Antonio eating fried chicken.
Where you're going, there is no concrete.
Yeah, and roads. But yeah, dude, it scared the shit out of me.
That is terrifying.
My truck did a bunny hop, and
for real?
Yeah, my truck literally did a bunny hop. It hit the concrete was so big. The whole truck fucking like bounced around and everything.
Dude, that's scary as shit.
Yeah, I had to get all this shit replaced on my tires on the way back.
Like, did it thrash your car?
No, no. I had to evade everything the best that I could. It scared the shit out of me.
What kind of car do you have?
I have a Honda Ridgeline.
All right, dear Honda. Sponsor the show because you're about to get more sales.
Dude, Honda like fucking held up, man.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, I did all the tires. I had to get brand new tires on the front because they were completely destroyed.
Just tires though. I'm
well, it was the tires and then the rims were like all dented. Like I don't know. I looked at it and there's these huge smashes in the rim. But like the tire still stayed on and there was like all these bulges coming out of the sides of the tires. I was still I drove to this place. I have no idea how the hell that happened. So they took like everything kind of got moved around. They had to rotate tires. They had to like bang all the rims and everything to like clean everything because it's steel rims. They were able to like actually repair them. Yeah. Holy shit.
That's
just north of Dallas,
man.
Yeah. So I was like on high alert. So all the time I would have saved, and I remember thinking about that, like had I just left on time, I would have gotten to Dallas after rush hour, and probably none of this would have happened.
And you would have been angry at all the slack-jawed rubberneckers,
like why
watching what was happening instead of being in it.
Yeah. So that scared the shit out of me. I remember thinking like holy shit, like that, the last thing I would have done would have been, listen to some fucking shitty audio book in north of Dallas.
I always think about like what am I going to be listening to if I die unexpectedly?
I would have said fuck, fuck. That's the last thing that I would have said, which was probably what most people say when under such similar circumstances.
That reminds me of that one Democrat lady. She was at a protest, and she's like, "I don't swear very often, but we have to fuck Trump." It's like,
Who said that?
We know you don't swear very, very often.
Who was it?
I don't know. It was some. I
Was
don't
it
know.
Elizabeth Warren?
No.
She sounds like she's
it
not
was.
very good
It
at
was
swearing.
definitely no one like of prestige, like of that level. I'm watching a lot of political shit, dude. So like,
Yeah.
everything's kind of mashing together. But I will say this though: AOC, Buttigieg, that's who I want.
Is AOC old enough to actually run?
Does that matter anymore?
It does. Yeah, it does.
I know it should,
It's,
but I thought so. I thought there's
don't you have to be 45 to? Don't you have to be 45 to run for president?
Was it 45? I thought it was 35, but
35, I think, is senator.
Oh, maybe that's where I'm getting it
She's
confused.
not even a senator. She's
Well, don't care. She's the only one I really kind of believe in.
her. I like Buttigieg. I both of them are really awesome.
Buttigieg for vice because I don't think he has enough of the umph.
He would be the president
Oh, I will
because
like
he's
that.
the older one. He's the older one.
don't
He's
care
been
about
doing it
age.
for longer. It doesn't matter. It matters what other people want.
That's true. That's true. But
you
you know
need,
what? That's what I want.
So I know you gotta.
I'm being selfish.
I've been reading lots of things about.
You've been reading?
I've been reading lots of things about
This is new.
like the history of Nazi Germany, and
okay.
there's a really good podcast that I had you listen to called The Master Plan.
Went through it.
Did you? So what'd you think? Or no, first off, so The Master Plan is it's a journalist who goes into the a memo from 1971 called the Powell Memorandum, and it's essentially it wasn't the only reason, but it was kind of, from what it sounds like, is a catalyst for how big business in the wake of everything that occurred to Nixon after the Watergate scandal happened, how big business was essentially going to kind of corner the market with media and information and the judicial system and education, and how they were going to create think tanks to essentially create their own alternative facts in history and everything, and create their own judges, which a lot of the people from that are currently
In place?
3 of the judges were picked by think tanks. I thought it was really, really good. You said you didn't really care for it?
No, that's not okay. Okay, so let me emphasize something I've told you before. John, you are scratch that. You have this amazing ability to make something sound interesting, even if I'm not interested in the subject matter. Here's the thing. Did you ever listen to an audiobook where you're like, oh my God, I want to know about this topic. This is such a cool topic. I want to learn about this. Perfect example. Guy wrote a book about the guy who was behind like 90% of the poisons that the CIA uses. Like, he was known as like Dr. Death at the CIA, right? I wanted to hear this fucking audiobook. And the reader of the audiobook was so boring, I couldn't get through a couple chapters. I did not care anymore. I didn't care about the subject matter. I don't fucking care about it because it was delivered so poorly. There was no emotion. There was no gravitas. There was no like fucking like excitement. It was just like, and then he woke up, and then he has a family, and then he has this, and it's like, I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care about the subject matter anymore.
I think a big difference between me and you is that like I could push through that.
Okay, I can't.
If it's really important.
100%. My
Like
brain.
I don't have to enjoy myself to be educated. I don't need it.
That's where we differ. I
'Cause it's-
need to be engaged. Otherwise, I blank out, man. So here's what I love about the podcast, The Lever. Holy shit, is the production value on fucking point. It is so good because it's they're using sound bites instead of quotes. Like if they were to write a paper instead of a quote, like they just like smooth, effortlessly go into the soundbite. There is nothing that pisses me off more than when someone goes, play this soundbite. Let's hear that soundbite. I'm like, fuck you. I'm out of it at that point. I don't care anymore. But if you just do it to emphasize the point, holy shit, I'm in it. Like, this is great. So how they did it was exceptionally good. It was exceptionally well produced, but it was like watching an Academy Award film, right? It's like, wow, this was really fucking well made. Okay, I got to go do something else because I'm bored out of my fucking skull. And it's a shame.
But isn't it frustrating that let's go back to how you were after grad school.
Yeah.
Like the story and the message of this are so incredibly important.
I think
and
it is.
very important to know when you're talking to somebody else, and you can explain to them on how like a lot of what you think, if you have a lot of conservative values, were crafted for you
by people who had an agenda to rule you.
But like when you said like, what do I like about it? You didn't talk anything about that. You just complained about production. It's like, dude.
Wait. When?
You just now.
No, I said the production was outstanding.
Yeah, no, you were you were complaining. Just talk about the content. Like you teach.
Yeah. No, yeah, I do.
Yeah, so you teach. Like you'll sometimes see somebody who like they didn't quite nail down like all the things, but like you could tell like you really have something of substance here. Just focus on that, dude. Stay on target.
Well, I'm trying to
arm yourself with knowledge.
But here's the issue: is I understand how media is made, whether it be audio or video, right? So it's very hard to disassociate something like that when I understand why things are done a certain way. Okay? I'm not saying it was bad. Oh my God, it was great.
Then talk about the content.
That's the problem. That is the underlying issue. I don't remember it.
Is it the fault of the people who made it, or is it the fault that you just don't remember things?
See, that's an issue because I can tell you a couple other podcasts that I've listened to, and I can tell you everything about it because I was engaged, because I was like riveted.
Is it because it's something that you're more interested in?
No, it was a topic about the type of human existence between ape and human, like before Cro-Magnon, and like the intersecting like jobs they had before they even knew what they were trying to do for jobs, right?
That sounds cool. I would listen to that.
But like, if I heard that, I'd be like, no, fuck that. I got other shit I want to listen to. But the way they told it, I had to stop what I was doing and just pay a fucking attention. It was so cool.
But you just said the production value was good.
Yeah, the production value is good. So
you're just saying the content is shit.
No, I'm not. I'm saying the delivery method. There's a difference. So let's break this down. When I'm going to explain a movie, because I think everyone has seen a movie before, right? What makes a good movie, in your opinion? What makes a good movie? You walk away and go, holy shit, that was good.
It depends on what I want.
Well, it depends on what you want.
If I'm watching a documentary, I want it to be informative. I want it to be as unbiased as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be compelling.
Mm-hmm. What makes it compelling?
If it's something that I enjoy, it makes it it's easier for it to be compelling if it's something that I already enjoy to begin with.
Subject matter? Is that what you're referring to? Like the topic?
Yes. Like so, and it can be. Sometimes you'll have something where it's like totally out of left field and it's really, really good. That can be done really well, but that's like in the way that they tell the story can be important. But if it's something that I am familiar with, I could watch something that's like real low grade production and enjoy it all the same.
Okay, so that's an interesting topic because we as people are drawn to things we automatically like, right? It's very easy, and you tend to give passes for things that aren't as good because it's on a subject that you like. Okay, that's completely normal. What I'm talking about is going into something with a topic that you might be interested. I'm very interested in learning where all this fucking horrible shit is coming from in our country. I very much want to know who this is, who is actually pulling the strings and why. Okay. However, I also, if I'm going to listen to a fucking hour-long episode, I got to be engaged.
Okay.
Otherwise, my brain clicks off.
I want you to know you're listening. You're the person who's sitting across from you. Listen to a 160-hour book because it was important that I listen to it.
Yeah.
So we can have a conversation. And you are complaining about a 1-hour episode about something.
I'm not complaining about anything.
I want to de-pants you in public because of it.
Fuck you, Worm is awesome. The audiobook sucks.
The audiobook is awful.
It was so bad. The Irish Girl Alone.
Oh my God, the Irish Girl. So I think the way that worked was that if they paid extra money, that they could talk, because I think that was.
Oh, is that it?
I think it was.
I thought it was just people who wanted to do it.
It was It was all the like the additional content, like the one-off stuff.
Yeah.
And it was all this really neat stuff that was, giving you insider knowledge and everything.
Oh no, I love that.
And it was always ruined by those people.
No, those
the actual guy who was doing the reading, Wild Bow?
The chapters were done. That was his Patreon. The bonus chapters.
Yeah.
That was people voted on what they wanted to do.
Yeah, but the people reading it.
I did.
The people who read
the people
who read out loud the audiobook for those chapters ruined it.
I agree because those were some of the best chapters.
Yeah. Oh, and I could tell. I would have to rewind it and re-listen, rewind it and re-listen, because they can't fucking read.
All right, John. Here we go. You just nailed the fucking perfect screw. I know construction terms. So you have an amazing topic, right? And you're into the topic. You're into the story. You want to know more about the story. But when someone delivers that story in a bad way.
I'm pretty certain that 10-part series won a shit ton of awards.
Okay, you're missing the point here. Okay,
so I'm going to say you might be in the minority of people who thought that it was told poorly.
I did not say it was told poorly. I said I was.
You're you're constantly moving the goalposts.
I said it wasn't engaging. That's my thing. So let's go back to the movie analogy, because I didn't get to go where I wanted to go with the movie analogy. Okay. So what makes a good movie, right? When someone who doesn't know what it takes to put a film together, that's good. There's a giant difference between making a Steven Seagal movie and then making Beau is Afraid. There's epic more work that goes into every single fucking frame of a good film. And the production of it, like the cameras, the lights and shit, that is less than 1%. There is so much more shit going on. Okay. And I'm not even talking about making it. I'm talking about thinking, having the theory, having the reasoning behind everything, because that's what's going to make you feel a certain way, right? And that's just one other small thing. So when I watch a movie, I'm going down all those checklists, seeing is the sound design good? Is the sound mixing good? Is the coloring good? Is the toning good? Is the editing good? Is the cinematography? You just keep nailing it. But the more you do that, right? Just like with architecture, you don't go down a list. They automatically click all at once, all the time. So I'm always thinking, when I watch a movie, the 40 or 50 different things that I'm looking for in what makes a film good, all the time, every shot. It's does it hit all these things in every shot? But I don't think it anymore. I just feel it, right? I do that with all media. Does it do this? Does it do this? Does it do this? All the time, right? So when I get to a podcast that's it's hitting 7 out of the 10 or 8 out of the 10, I'm it's a great fucking podcast. That's a high number, right? if the scale of stars for a movie is 5 and you're giving it 4.5, that's a pretty fucking high rating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you would give that movie a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So I would give this podcast, I'd give it a 4.8.
But you couldn't listen to it.
No, I listened to the whole thing. I wasn't engaged. Because the entire time, here's what I think it was. I was being talked to. I wasn't invited into the conversation. And it has nothing to do with the words he chose.
It's investigative journalism.
Yep.
You weren't part of the conversation to begin with.
Why?
Because it's investigative journalism.
But you could.
What? I'm so confused.
Yeah, sure.
Like, let's do an analogy of education.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you enjoy every single class that you took when you were in high school?
Nope. And there's a reason why I got an F and D's in most of them.
Okay. But I mean, like, there's some things that it's just important to know.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, knowing how the world works so that you don't think that magic is real is important. Which is like, knowing about chemistry and physics and all those things. Because if you don't understand it, now it's just magic to you.
But I was getting a 17% in chemistry. The only reason I passed is because I was in the hospital.
I'm just saying, sometimes you have to just not enjoy something if it's important.
I disagree with that.
Like, if it's important, you'll choke down the medicine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you will, but will it sit? Will it?
It makes you better. And I think knowledge is kind of like a medicine. So I guess we just skipped the education analogy and went directly to a medicine analogy.
Knowledge is the best thing you can have. And you and I both agree that academia or learning something in general, there's never a negative to it. There's the greatest thing you can do in your life, correct? Like you and I have had that conversation before.
What I want to just portray to the people listening is that you should listen to the master plan, and it's done by Lever.
Yeah.
Despite what Jay says.
I never said don't listen to it. It's great.
You're like, man, it's this great thing that I don't give a shit about.
I didn't say that. I wasn't engaged.
Well, they might be engaged.
Exactly.
And you should listen to it.
You fucking should.
You don't remember anything from it?
I remember a lot of things.
Then
but
tell me something.
I can't pinpoint it.
Well, tell me one thing that engaged you.
Milk. And then I lost interest. It had nothing to do with the content. It had to do with the fact that I was being told. I wasn't being invited in.
That's what investigative journalism is. Well, like, this is a thing that happened.
But that can also be...
And we're going to explain to you what happened.
See, that sounds like the teachers who don't give a shit about the experience of the students.
Okay, so I've been writing a lot on Facebook and annoying probably people that I haven't talked to in a really long time.
Sir, by the way.
So a big thing with that is shit. I've lost my fucking train of thought.
You were writing stuff on Facebook because teachers don't. My argument was teachers don't. They just regurgitate information versus engaging the students.
Shit.
You're telling the students what to know. You're telling people. Okay.
Oh, I lost it again.
Okay, you're telling Jesus Christ, this is the worst first date ever.
What? Damn it! I had like a really good point, and then it just completely left.
So, I don't like being told information straight out. I don't want to be read a book to. Bad teachers do that. They just regurgitate the information and expect you to know it. You've been doing a lot of writing on Facebook, much to the chagrin.
All right, I got it. Okay. The point that I was trying to make was, I'm trying to get people to like read the text themselves. I want people to take in the information themselves so they can make up their own mind. And what I've been trying to reiterate to people is that if you're watching something, if you're reading something where they're giving you their opinion, you're not getting the facts anymore. You're being told what to think.
I agree.
With a lot of the talking heads and stuff like that.
I agree.
And I worry about what you're saying is, unless you're being told what your opinion is or that they're making a clever spin on it, on how to tell it to you, you don't like it. You don't want the facts. You want something on top. You want a sugar on the medicine to make the facts go down. Is that what I'm hearing?
Okay, so that analogy is actually pretty good, but I want to emphasize that you said before, I don't want their opinion. I don't want to be told what to think. I like having the information, but how it's delivered, I think, is vastly important. I don't want to eat the potatoes. I want to enjoy the spoon that I'm putting the potatoes on to put in my mouth. Because if the spoon sucks, I'm not going to enjoy the potatoes.
I think you've lost most people.
Fair enough. They're just like taters. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Any food analogy with you? Because I honestly, dude, I just don't know.
I love that you keep harking back to this.
Well, no, because it's so weird.
It's not
it's
weird.
It's fascinating, actually.
Bread is the one.
No. At this point, it's just fascinating. Like, I wonder. Like, I almost want to just, like, feed you things, and you'll be like, the air in this room makes this steak taste bad. Where that person has one brown eye and one green eye. So now my mashed potatoes are the worst. I don't understand. And it's only with food. Like, anything that you ingest, if you're going to eat it or drink it.
I get hypercritical.
I know you do. Like, there's like a really weird, at this point, it's adorable, Jay. At this, like, it's like an equation that has to happen. Like a magical equation. But nothing really makes sense. It's just your made up rules. Oh, this reminds me. So I've been talking to another family member. It's been a long time. They popped up on my book face as I'm,
Your family?
Yeah, my family.
Oh, okay.
And I don't have many of them.
Well, that's why I was trying to like suss out.
So I'm trying to like reach out. I don't know. I wanted to. It's my uncle. I haven't talked my godfather. Like I haven't talked to him.
Yeah. I remember him.
It's been a long time, like over a decade since I probably talked to him. Yeah, it's been over a decade since I talked to him. And he reached out to me on Facebook, in response to one of these things. And he doesn't like Trump, but he's trying to tell me how Trump is really a Democrat, and that the Republicans don't like him. And that I should like give him a chance because he's like a secret Democrat who's trying to like.
Dear fucking God.
Yeah, so it's like it's really weird. The thing that I'm getting when I'm talking to all these people is Donald Trump is he's like a Rorschach test. he's just blank enough that like I noticed with all these people, it's just like they're imbuing a little bit of themselves on their interpretation of what he's trying to say because he's not really saying anything himself.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I can see that.
Like some people, there's a lot of 5D chess, and everybody's just kind of throwing a little bit of themselves into that. And like when I talk to him, like he's originally from the Chicagoland area, and he's moved to Minneapolis, and it's incredibly far left wing, and he's trying to like tell me how he's more left than anybody else, and that all those people are just fake left, and that it's him. So when I'm hearing his interpretation of Donald Trump being a secret liberal surrounded by really people who are really conservative, I'm thinking like, wow, you're just like throwing yourself on there. And it's fascinating. Like some of the answers that you get on Facebook with them, it's just something that I'm noticing.
Okay.
Is that they're just kind of throwing themselves on there, and I get a lot of like people calling me saying that I have the Trump delusional syndrome.
Oh my God.
I get a lot of that.
By the way, the person who coined it is a fucking pedophile. So let's go ahead and go down that road next time someone fucking says something.
I know. Well, I mean, the other thing you could talk about is how there's another book that I read called The Conservative. I think it's called The Conservative Noise Box. Is another book that I'm reading. There's a guy who like he was one of the people who made up a lot of the bullshit and worked for the think tanks to slander the Clintons back in the 90s. Like that was his job, and he wrote a book about how he did it.
Holy shit, what a fucking job.
Yeah. And and he talks about like the think tanks and everything that goes into there. That, and then there's another book that I read called what was it? It's like the Disinformation Merchants or something like that, or
you've talked about that album before.
Where they like, and the way that it works is, if all you got to do is just convince one person in academia. If I have 1 out of 100, that says that's anti to the 99, once you put it on media, now it becomes 50-50. I could have 99% of the community says it's this, but I got 1% of the community that says this, and this is the one that they paid or they've influenced or whatever to write this particular thing.
Like the anti-vaxxer bullshit. It's all
exactly.
fake.
Once you put it on TV and they want to say fair and balanced, what Fox News says, everything that they have is fair and balanced. All they're doing is they're making that 1% now 50% and that 99% now 50%.
That's
because they're both getting equal airtime. So when it comes to the Donald Trump, the Trump syndrome, delusional syndrome, all you need is like one guy out of America who has a degree in whatever. He says it. Now it's on the airwaves.
Jesus Christ.
Now that 1%, that one fraction of a percent, now it gets 50%, and then everybody else get 50%.
Have you noticed that the right wing, the conservatives, they're taking words hostage and using the exact opposite of those words?
Like how?
Like fair and balanced. No, you're not at all. You're not. Conservative. They're not conservative. They're as fucking far.
The regressive.
They're regressive. Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on. Freedom of speech. No. There is no freedom of speech. You are actively destroying speech. You are actively taking away rights with speech and information. And the other one that I fucking hate so much, common sense. I hear that all the time. It's just common sense. It's like, no, what you're talking about is not common sense. It is predictive.
It's all gaslighting.
And yeah, it's gaslighting, but they're taking words or like this. This is why I think when they eventually make the SS, the American SS, which is, I feel is already starting, they're going to call them the Patriots. They're going to call them the Sons of Liberty or something like that, where it's like, none of this is what those words mean.
Patriot Front. Yeah, and that's one of the things that what's his name? The guy who wrote How to Spot a Fascist, Enrico.
Right.
One of the tenets was Newspeak. Was one of the
right.
things that was important. You know, the Newspeak was used by Joseph Goebbels. Like he kind of like really is the one who made it really big. But yeah, a lot of the things you can tell what they've done by what they're putting out in the news and accusing people of.
I see that quote every fucking day on
Gaslight,
Reddit.
Obstruct, Project.
Oh, no.
GOP.
No. Oh, that's amazing. No, I haven't heard that. It's every accusation is a confession.
Oh, and it is, because once you've put it out into the ether and say these people are raping kids. Well, if you have all these pedophilia things pop up, well, then now if you say no, you guys are pedophiles, and you're like, well, that's only because you're the one who's doing it.
Oh my God.
They're just getting ahead of the story.
Well, these are the people who are anti-gay, and then
queer as a football bat.
During the Republican convention, Grindr crashes.
Yeah, I heard that.
Jesus Christ. And these, I wish these were jokes. I wish we could look back at these things as oh, that was fake. That's funny. No, they're fucking real, and it makes me dread where this country's going.
It is weird. My uncle that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
He, he's...
Let's call him Goebbels.
Yeah. No.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, he'll get really passionate about a lot of the things that he's talking about. And he's talking about how he's saying how essentially how Nazis are socialists. And socialists and
extrapolate that fucking
mind
brain.
So I told him, I was like, no, I mean, pretty traditionally Nazis are on the right. And he's like, well, no, anarchy comes from the left, and that's what it is. And I said, well, it's complicated. And I said it was it was a populist movement that happened, and on paper they were social. I mean, the Nazi it started technically as a socialist movement.
You can call it whatever you want. It isn't what it is.
I tried to explain it. I was like, it started as a socialist movement. It was the working class. Yeah. It was the working class that wanted change,
just like now.
And it was the petit, and I called it the petit bourgeois. The petit bourgeois are small business owners, and that was something that Trotsky said. No matter what, out of all the things, when you try and sum up what fascism is, blood and soil was a common thing, but the other thing was it was targeting the small business owners. And you notice like January 6th, they were all small business owners. Like a lot of the propaganda and all the think tanks and everything, and the, you know, a lot of like the libertarian stuff came out of those think tanks was directed directly towards small business owners. Okay. Because if you get the small business owners in your community, like you win America if you get the small business owners. Because the far, far left, your laborers, are always going to be against the far, far right, the capitalists. And they're always going to fight. But if you can get the small business owners, like those are the people in America that won. Those are the people that, you know, have their name and their business up and downtown. They're the ones who hire people for the jobs.
Trust me, I get it.
Yeah, they're the ones who sponsor the little leagues. They're the ones that do all those things. Like, so if you win the small business owners to your side, it's your community.
Yep.
So a lot of propaganda goes towards them. And he is himself a small business owner. You know, and I try to explain to him all these things, but he's like, no. There's nothing but left propaganda is what all that is. So I'm going to create my own. And I told him, I was like, okay, well, if you're going to create your own, like, is this something you just came up with on yourself? And he's like, no, it's just all mine. It's all his idea. But he won't tell me, like, he won't give me a spectrum. He gave me a book from 1934 to read that he says I have to read that's about socialism. And I said, you know, I've read a couple books on fascism and the rise of the Nazi party.
Especially 1934.
And I told him,
year after
Hitler took power.
Yes.
So I told him, I was like, I said, like, if you compare Enron to 1986 when they first came to be, and like 2006 when the scandal and everything went through, like you're going to get two different stories.
You're goddamn right.
But no, he's created a whole nother spectrum and outlook because the left is just making up stuff. And it's like, and he won't tell me what the rules are. He'll just tell me that I'm wrong off of what's in his mind.
That's a right-wing mentality.
But he's trying to tell me that he's further left than I am. And all the liberals in Minneapolis are further left, are all really,
they're fake,
all left conservatives. And he's a real liberal, just like Donald Trump. And they're going to make America better.
Oh my God.
And
I don't know how to take this, man.
When I try and explain stuff to him,
like, how do you fight that?
He gets frustrated and says that we shouldn't have these conversations anymore. And mind you, like, I haven't talked to him in years, and I don't have a lot of family members anymore. Like, my family, like, scattered to the wind.
I need you to know that I'm your family.
I understand that, and I appreciate that. But
I'm
when it comes to like to the people who I was, you know, the formative people that I knew when I was a little kid, like, there's no me being an architect without him. Like, he gave me my first art set. He was an artist. I wanted to draw because of him, you know?
Yeah.
And it sucks that, like, this is kind of what it is. So and I told him, you know, I enjoy learning new perspectives, and I do.
Yeah, well, of course.
But, you know, and I don't mind talking with him about this stuff. Like, he wants to talk to my mom. I'm like, you could do that, but you're not allowed to talk politics with her. But like, originally, I just reached out to you because I just wanted to see how you and your kids were doing
as a person.
And I was like, and I just don't have any family, and I'll take what I can get. And all he wants, he keeps just sending me videos, like, that are obviously right-wing videos, and he always tries to tell me what I'm supposed to think before I watch it.
Oh.
You know?
That's called framing.
Priming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he recently sent me a video that, what is it? Like, one of the, I'm trying to think what, it's like a financial, one of the, I don't remember what it is. I don't know finance stuff very well. It's one of one of the people that essentially, like, kind of tells you how the economy is going to be doing. He said that, like, Trump's tariffs are going to, like, do some van damage to the economy. And he sends me the video and he goes, have you seen this yet? Just so you know, him and Donald Trump just don't really get along, and he's just skewing his point of view. But here, you should watch this. But just so you know. It's like, oh, all right. And it sucks that, like, you know, I'm not an 8-year-old kid anymore. But he's like, dude, I haven't talked to you in 10 years, over 10 years.
So,
and he's already told me that he's lost friends over this, and like I want to keep talking to him, but it's like I don't know what to do.
I think you have a good heart. I think you mean well. And I think you are the better person for trying to understand someone. I will say my life has been a lot better cutting toxic people out. I don't want them in my life. I want nothing to do with them because it's.
But I mean, we gotta like as a country, we gotta get past this. You know what I mean? Like America got past the Civil War, right? Like Germany got past
John,
having Nazis in it. No, hold on. Let me
I lived
keep
in
talking.
Savannah, Georgia.
I don't know. Hold on. Well, you're right. I kept going, but like you have to get past it. Like the other option is to just kill them all, and that can't happen.
I don't want.
You know what
that
I
to
mean?
happen.
Like I don't want there to be a huge slaughter in the other half,
No.
and one half or the other has to go.
No, of course not.
So like there has to be some sort of way to get over this. And I feel like cutting people out isn't helpful. And I would rather just kind of talk with them and be rational. And hopefully, eventually they come along and you don't lose somebody out of it. At least that's the way that I see it. I'm not saying that you have to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say, like, I'm trying to see a rational exit strategy out of this thing. Like with the Cold War, actually, him and I were like talking. He's like really into like Russia winning the whole thing with the Ukraine and everything. And he's like,
how are these not red fucking flags?
I know, they're all red flags. And I told him like, I understand Ukraine really wants to have all of its. Ukraine is very, very adamant that it gets all of its POWs back and all the kids that were taken. That was like a huge thing. Like it makes total sense. But I said like, Russia, they want that, and Russia's going to want something too because they have to look like they've won. And during the Cold War, no, but this is what happened during the Cold War when we had the Cuban missile crisis. Right. Like we got them to leave Cuba, Russia, but we also pulled our missiles out of Turkey, which is what started them. So we can tell our media, look who won, and they can tell their media, look who won. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's almost
is that better because that shit never ended. You can say
the Cold War won, or the Cold War definitely ended.
You can say that, but the shit is still going on.
No, the Cold War for sure ended. Like that entity, that communism's gone. Now it's turned into an oligarchy, and now our country wants what they have because they like that a handful of people get to run the show.
Yes. It's still happening. It manifests, evolves, and festers into something worse.
Exactly. But what you're saying, like the end game from war, there is no end game to what you want other than wiping people out.
I know,
like there's got to be.
I need that on the fucking record. I don't want that. Honestly, I don't.
I know. That's what I'm trying to say. Like we need a Cold War thing where they can say that they won, we can say that we won. And everybody's happy, and you just fucking leave it alone.
For 20 years.
What else? I mean, what else are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, it sucks that you have to, like, go forward knowing, like, man, like, my family members are fascists, and they think that January 6th wasn't an insurrection, and they get upset if everybody else thinks it's an insurrection.
I don't want those people.
But, like, I just don't know. There's, like that crisis, like where all these lines, like definitive lines being drawn and not talking to people, especially like it's just people that you talked to forever. And like all of a sudden out of the blue, they've been lied to.
Okay.
They've been lied to.
Yeah. Okay.
And they don't know. And, and that sounds incredibly patronizing to say, but like literally to go back to the podcast we were talking about, like, the Powell Memorandum convinced lots of corporations to invest money
right.
into programs that colleges have to essentially create judges that will agree with them, to invest money in media companies. This is where like Fox News came out of this.
Correct.
To invest money in think tanks that essentially are the ones who pay for the small amount of academic papers or pay for the nonprofit programs that run these fake ads and to pay off politicians. A lot of what that podcast is about campaign finance and how that's really failed, because it was all about how to stop corruption. Corruption now with Citizens United and some of the other things coming out of Supreme Court have legalized corruption.
Yes.
And all of that money has been flooded into all of these things, onto AM radio, onto television, onto newspapers, onto magazines, and they targeted very specific groups, one of them being small business owners, to think a certain way, and they are living in a reality that, was manufactured after 1971. And, I don't know how to deprogram people, but that's really what it is.
Yeah.
But like, they're still, they're people. They're making their best judgment off of the information that they have. A lot of them didn't go to college.
But I don't think...
Not all of them, but a lot of them didn't go to college.
So I want to emphasize something about that, because all the people I talk to who say like, oh, you went to college, you learned all this shit in college. Like, I didn't learn any of this shit in college. What I learned in college was how to do my own fucking research, how to think for myself, not be told what to think.
But they say the exact same thing about you. Like, you guys are making the exact same thing. They think that you don't know how to do your own research.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, chatting with people.
I know they think this.
They think that's what they think. They are told that our educational institutions are just hotbeds for Marxism. And I need to go back to what I was talking about with my uncle. Like, there's 150 years of discourse of that where Marxism is used as the antithesis to capitalism, not because it is anti to capitalism. It's literally just the holes that are poked into, like, this is what happens. Like, this is what's going to happen if, like, capitalism keeps going. Like, if you think unfettered capitalism is going to, be this wonderful thing, like, there's going to be problems we have. And that's all that the Communist Manifesto was. It was just like, all right, there's always been poor people and there's always been really rich people. In the previous institution, it was, plebs and the mega and like royalty, and these are the problems that they had. Now you're switching it over to where, there is commerce and people who have capital, but now you have people who have capital and you have people who are workers, and like, we've changed things up a little bit, but it's still kind of the same. And these are the problems that are going to occur. It's not this like evil, when you talk to people, they like you're a demon if you talk about socialism.
Right.
And to just completely remove that discourse, 150 years of discourse, and just call everything left. Well, it's not. It's just, all it is just a conversation.
Yep.
And this is the dialogue that we use. It's the terms, it's the definitions of things. That's just what it is. Like, you can't create your own world. But then again, they did. They created their own world.
Damn right. And that's what
where they removed 150 years of discourse.
Mm.
Or 100 years of discourse if they started in the 70s. But so I'm sorry I cut you off.
You didn't cut me off. I think this is fascinating. This is why I want you to do this kind of shit, because I'm paying attention and I'm fucking getting it.
It's frustrating having conversations with people when they have been getting all their information from other places. And when I tell them what you've been learning is a lie, it makes me sound like a crazy person.
Well, that's that goes back to the Plato's Cave. And that's why I'm so fucking heartfelt about that, an allegory. Wow, the heating has not come on in a while. Sorry. That caught me off guard. I was like, what's that? But the Plato's Cave is like one of my favorite fucking...
The allegory of the cave?
Yeah, the allegory of the cave. Sorry, I always say that wrong. Plato's allegory of the cave. And it's you are fed this you are fed this consistent story being told by someone else. Like...
Well, in their case, it was shadows. There was a fire behind everybody.
Yes. Okay.
Everybody can only see the wall, and all they see is the shadows created by the people.
By the fire, by whoever is creating the shadows and showing what the people who have been born and die inside the cave. They have never been outside of this cave. So the images they see on the wall are what they identify with as reality, as truth, as unarguable fact, right? So if someone puts their hands together with their thumbs and their fingers outstretched, that's a bird, right? That's a bird. It's not hands that look like a bird. That's a bird. It is indisputable. Okay? So the allegory says one slave gets released, goes out into the world, just is overcome with emotions and confusion and anger because you're angry at being locked up and told all these lies all this whole time, but then you're overjoyed by the beauty that the world actually exists, and you're confused at what you don't know, and you want to just grab onto everything. You start learning everything. You start self-educating, and then you go back to the cave and you tell these people that you lived with that you were one of them, and you tell them that what they're doing is a lie, and then they laugh at you because now you're the crazy person because that guy holding his hands together, that's a bird. It all comes down to, do you fucking want to know the truth, or do you want to stay a slave?
But they think the exact same things about us.
No, see, that's the issue, is they think it, they're not doing it. They're going, oh, well, he's telling a lie. They're not going online and actually looking up. I had a conversation with my dad, and I'm going to say this is the greatest fucking allegory I can think of, is my father starting to be woke. Jesus fucking Christ.
It can happen to him?
It can happen to
anybody.
God. Oh my God. Okay. So my dad and I were talking, and he was like having kind of like a emotional meltdown because I think he's starting to question that what his values actually are. Okay. And two things. One, I say, Dad, it sounds like you're waking up. He goes, I don't know what that means. And then he had the fucking balls to ask me, what does woke mean? Which to me immediately says, it doesn't give a shit about the meaning of woke. What I see that as is he's questioning his own values and what he is being told as the truth in order to have the courage to say, I'm not going to believe that wholeheartedly. I want to question what it is. You question fucking authority. That's what makes you learn. That's what pushes you. You don't say, oh, this cupcake is good for me because it says it's good. Oh, milk, it does a body good, so I should just fucking believe it. Oh, you want to get married to someone? You have to buy them a ring that's 2 months' salary. Have to. It's all fucking marketing. It's all fucking lie.
How much of it do you think with your dad is the sunk cost fallacy?
So I honestly think most scenarios is sunken cost because they're so down in it. They're so down this rabbit hole, right? That as soon as they start to mentally realize, whether it's conscious or not, their brain will go, dude, we've spent years, decades, almost a fucking century believing this one thing. I can't be wrong about that because that means all my decisions were wrong.
And all the things that I've said and done.
Bingo.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing. So my dad had the fucking balls to question what he's been told. And as soon as he asked that, I shut up and I said, okay, I'm going to be more receptive. Because you asking this is one thing, but you having the balls to ask it, that's another thing altogether.
And you're saying like good, you got the balls.
It's wonderful.
Not bad.
Yes. Yeah. In the best way possible.
Because saying it that way means like the fucking nerve on this guy.
Oh, the nerve. Okay. So I mean, it's like you are questioning authority for the first time when all you've ever done is say, yes, I will jump how high. Fuck that. Tell me why. Okay. And that's me. I'm a challenger. I question. And that's where me and my dad have been polar fucking opposites our whole lives. So I told him what woke is. I told him that it started in the black community, that it was taken as a word never to mean anything negative, but again, co-opted by a group to create a false narrative and a false enemy. And then it was supposed, they demonized it into something that is a beautiful thing. So I told him how I view woke, and he goes, well, none of that is bad. Like accepting your neighbor for who they are, you know, knowing that other people exist and letting them exist. Like just because your neighbor likes apple pie and you like blueberry doesn't mean they're wrong for liking apple. Right? I mean, that's like the kindergarten version of everything. And we went through the whole thing. He goes, well, that doesn't sound that bad. Like, why are they saying woke is a bad thing? I'm like, because they want to control you. Okay. Then the next thing, he goes off on this whole backstory about, you know, when I was a kid and my dad, like if a neighbor's tree fell, my dad didn't ask to come over to help. He just went over and did it. He just went over and helped. And someone was like, you know, my grandpa owned a grocery store in their town, right? And they had to close it down after I think a year or two because no one ever paid their bill. And my grandpa was just like, oh, it's just the right thing to do. If they can't afford to eat, we can give them food. And my dad's like, that's what a real American is. Like, that's like what a real person is. And I'm like, Dad, that's a fucking socialist. You are a socialist.
That's woke as fuck.
And he got so mad for a second. And then immediately he went, okay, hold on. And I said, all right. You're accepting it. You're opening up. Now go read the definition of what a socialist is. Not a website. I want you to read the definition. The core definition.
Go to Webster's.
Yes.
Just read it.
And he came back to me like a week later. He goes, you know what? I read it. It doesn't sound that bad. So why are everyone telling me it's bad?
Your dad went to war
that's it.
to fight communists.
Yes. And I don't fucking get it. My grandpa was Antifa. The person he looks up to as being a man, as an American.
But that's why he thought it. He went to war to fight against communists because that was bad. Because they wanted to kill the commies.
And that's it. Because they're bad. What does communism mean?
Well, there was a shit ton of propaganda between then and there. After World War I, when
not negating it.
When all of the countries after World War I found out that it only took like somewhere between 10 and 20% of the population, or shit, maybe even less than that, to overthrow the government, and communism took over a country, and all of the people, all the capitalist people, were like, "Holy shit,
that's it.
We better invest money real quick and convince people that this is bad.
That people shouldn't rise up and take us over because I want to make more money."
Yeah, if people realize that they can take all this away and that they're the ones doing the work and not me, I can lose all this.
That's right. Keep people dumb, keep them working. Very Curtis Yarvin of you. I've been reading more.
Yeah, Curtis Yarvin's a fucking...
He's a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, he is. And isn't it crazy, like everything that he was saying years ago, decades ago,
I know,
is happening.
I know.
All those people are listening, man. Curtis Yarvin. Yeah, if people don't know, listen to Curtis Yarvin.
Listening. They're it's the pulpit. It's the fucking doctrine.
He's the dark elf.
Dark elf, the drow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird that he called himself a dark elf. It's like, motherfucker, if you're going to use the terminology, use it right.
He's so full of himself, but
that was weird too, by the way. After like you said it and then I actually read it and I was like, ew.
Yeah.
This guy's filthy.
Yeah, there's a reason that Peter Thiel has Palantir as the name of the thing that spies on everybody.
Right. Okay, so we're bearing the lead here. What's going on with fucking the Secretary of Defense and the chat stream on Signal?
Yeah, I mean, since shit changes every single day.
I was going to say,
this will be old in a week.
This will be old tomorrow, by the way.
So the Secretary of Defense, they accidentally shared... They're using a private app,
a public app,
a publicly used app to talk about secret secret war plans.
God,
and they accidentally included
the head of the journalism department.
Yeah, the head of the journalism department
at the Atlantic.
Yeah, which these are the same people that said like that we're talking about the buttery emails of Hillary Clinton and said all these awful things about her and they should lock her up. Like, what are you going to say now?
Dude, oh my fucking God.
I just saw a thing with Trump.
I was thinking this morning.
Trump, you know what Trump's answer to this is?
I didn't hear about it.
I didn't hear about it.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You're seriously, like, your answer to this is that you are so uninformed.
Yes.
That you have no idea what's going on. Like, come on, dude.
It doesn't excuse you.
This fucking thing it has to only work for a little bit. Like, it has to. Like, it makes me want to like post something on Facebook because I'll like do something that's like so blatantly silly. Like, it just to see like, all right, who's going to bite onto this? And people always do. There's always somebody who's like willingly ready to move the goalpost to make this okay. And I've already read it. I mean, people are saying like, you know, well, I don't like that they're doing this, but now I can see how they're talking and I know that they're doing what's best for the country. That's already happening.
Out.
That's already happening. They don't care that it happened. All it is further proof that what they're saying and what they're doing is in the right direction, and it makes them happy that now they know.
These are the same fuckers who are eating ice cream every morning because it's good for you because there's milk in it. You dumb fucking sheep. I'm sorry,
it's
man.
Propaganda, dude.
Huh?
It's propaganda, and it's
dude.
like,
trust me.
You gotta remember, like,
it's all marketing.
If they admit that they're wrong, they're fucking idiots at best and monsters at worst.
Bingo. Their world crumbles. But maybe be a human because guess what? You're a much better idiot if you acknowledge it and work better for it. Like if you come out and say, look, I'm wrong. That's okay. Oh my God. We've all been wrong.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being wrong.
No.
But the thing is they don't want to be wrong. They don't want to be wrong to people who have degrees.
Okay, so you and I talked about it like 2 episodes ago or 3. I don't remember how long it's been. That we wanted to use the word faggot specifically for lack of a better term, idiots, right? Mm-hmm. Like people who just straight up refuse.
Not anti-gay.
No. It has nothing to do with that. It was
just because it was a word that would upset those people.
Yes, and I've used it on a couple people, not to them. But in passing, I would be like, you know, those faggots who are wearing the red hats, and I see people's eyes fume. And I'm like, oh my God, there's something there. So I talked to a very good gay friend of mine, and I didn't want to bring it up like blatantly. I wanted to like touch on it very poignantly with reason. And she explained to me, she goes, if it is used for the betterment of everyone without being a flash in the pan thing that takes away something from our culture, like then I think it would be okay. But if it's just a quick little like snide remark, you've lost the fucking game.
Okay.
And I was like, shit, you know, you're right.
Yeah.
Because
and then it just makes you look like an
and
asshole.
then it makes us look stupid because now we're just picking up a word and using it like woke.
Yeah.
Right? So I detour from doing that. But the point is to this whole thing, is to engage them. They're so fucking easy to engage. And they market us as being the easy ones to engage. Now I'm not Democrat, okay? I've never identified it as one or the other. But if this is like you have to choose, yeah, you're fucking A right I am.
Yeah, I'm not voting for the Democrat. I'm
Nope.
voting against MAGA.
I vote against MAGA
and like
wholeheartedly.
I'm put in a position where I don't even get to make a choice anymore, which now sucks because now the left has got some fucking dumpster fires themselves.
Oh my God, Schumer is a fucking loser.
Yeah.
How he
Well,
gets out
again,
of the bed in the morning, puts his pants on, is beyond me.
All right. So what happens like every fucking year is the debt ceiling has to raise, or the government shuts down, and all these people lose their jobs. Yada yada yada.
I hated them before that.
And
too.
the right has been using it as a weapon to get what they want for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see him making the argument that I don't want to lower myself. But he's working on the Obama, they go low, we go high. And I just want somebody who's going to just fight just as dirty and filthy as them.
AOC and Jasmine Crockett.
Jasmine Crockett's
I fucking
she's
love
the lady,
her.
man. She's awesome.
I fucking love her because she is done with putting up with shit.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And I will high five her to hell and back, man.
Yeah, Fetterman can also go pound sand.
Fetterman can suck dick, and not in a good way. Because sucking dick is great, no matter what sex you are. It's fucking amazing. Stop using it as a negative.
Everybody's gonna like it in one way or another.
Everyone's gonna like it at some point.
Yeah, maybe not the act, but like the reciprocants, or somebody's gonna like it.
That's why, like, dude, I've always hated the term like you remember when we were playing football and our coaches would call us pansies and pussy and stuff like that. I've always fucking hated that. Like, not just like the demeaning factor, but it's like, how dare you take an entire sex of people and think that it should be used as a demeaning thing to make me want to be more manly. Like, that kind of mentality.
Yeah, but that was just the thing that happened when we were younger.
And
it doesn't mean that it's okay. but
Racism was just a thing that happened.
It is.
Oh, slavery was just a thing that happened.
just
Oh,
saying.
genocide was just
I'm
a
just
thing that
saying.
happened.
It was and we went past that. I think for the most part, a lot of people went past that. I think even the Republican
people
Party
have.
like really went past that.
Some
You don't
people
see a
have.
lot of people like if you talk about your core gay folks, the gay GLBT. No, not the T. They're not happy with the T. But like if you're gay, if you're a lesbian, or you're bisexual, I think that they're pretty well integrated in.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the dehumanization of half of the people on the planet, just to make the other half of the planet.
Oh, you're talking about like sex in general.
I'm talking about sex in
making fun
general.
of like men by calling them women.
Yeah, like why
see
is
what
that
you're
a
saying.
demeaning thing? Like, if you want to get right down to it, and this is a comedian I heard years ago, but like, how dare you use pussy as a weak term? A pussy can take a pounding, it bleeds every goddamn month and keeps going, and it can pass a watermelon through the size of a quarter and comes back to be perfect. Meanwhile, your dick hole can't do shit.
Yeah, you and your dick hole. Well, I mean, it only works on young men.
It does not, sir.
I don't know, like, or emotionally stunted people.
Emotionally stunted. Yes.
I'm not gonna. Like, if you're confident, you're gonna be okay.
Yes.
Which is, let's start talking about the young men of Gen Z.
Okay. This is interesting.
Like, why the young men of Gen Z and like the whole incel thing, and how Gen Z men are the
incel's
most Gen Z men are like the most conservative the young generation in a very long time.
I know a Gen Z guy.
Well, you know one,
I know one.
but overall, young Gen Z men.
Do you hang out with guys?
No, I'm looking
Gen
at the
Z?
statistics, the voting statistics.
Okay.
Young Gen Z men are more conservative than like guys in their 70s
I will say that lines up with who I know.
who are very conservative,
they're-
incel
yeah.
and conservative.
Well, not incel. Incel's different. That's a whole different beast.
But I think a lot of it comes out of like being an incel seems to be
Incel does not equal Gen Z.
correct, but I think there's more incels that are Gen Z than a lot. Like, dude,
I wholeheartedly disagree.
Getting laid in previous generations seem to have been very easy. It does seem like men and women are having way less sex. And I think the younger guys are having way less sex, and girls are having sex with older guys. It seems to be a pretty common thing.
That seems like a really weird.
Which is but that happens all the time.
Well, I mean, but where are you getting that fact from? Because that seems really like flamboyant. Like, where's that fact coming from?
I'd have to find actual numbers.
Okay.
I don't know if where I got it from.
It
real.
sounds like a very interesting talking
but
point,
I
want to see it.
So I can tell you the voting thing and them being more
voting.
So
that's why I
that happened.
Yes.
That's a real thing.
Yes.
They like all the numbers are coming out. There's a guy. It was like an hour-long thing where the guy did like a breakdown of like the people who voted and ages and all that stuff like that. And
I saw a lot of apathy in Gen Z. Like the majority of Gen Z didn't even fucking vote.
But the ones who did.
But the ones who did were on the more conservative, which is fucking weird.
It is very weird. But that's because there's a lot of incels who can't get laid in a monkey house with a bag of bananas, and they're going to people like who's that one guy who's literally a sex trafficker, and Trump let him back into the country.
Oh,
Tate,
not Gates. Tate. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got guys like him who are these, male influencers.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Who are trying to tell people, yeah, you're right. It's not your fault. It's women's fault, and it's Western society's fault.
It's that toxic,
and it's liberals'
hyper-masculinity.
fault, and it's toxic masculinity is rampant, and I think toxic masculinity creates incels.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely part of it. Yes, and that's kind of
that's
what I started with.
I wonder, like, if that because like there's a time when you're like, fuck, I can't get laid, and you get upset.
You do get upset.
You remember like. Yeah, being like a young man, and you're like, why can't I do this? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, because then you get really down on yourself. You start to question if you're worth anything. It's like, well, obviously I'm ugly, but like, because no one ever wants to be with me. Obviously, I'm not attractive or enjoyable to be around. But then you start going deeper and deeper and deeper, and then the spiral happens, right? Like
when if you start blaming others and not yourself.
Yes. So.
Which is, I think, just a problem in general with a lot of the people on the right.
Agreed.
Like it's not me.
No self.
It's not the poor decisions that I made and why I lost my business.
Someone else.
It's
why
someone
you create
else.
a fake enemy. That's fascism 101.
Yes, making your fake enemy.
And then you blame them, and then you say you defeated them.
Yeah, another win.
Jesus Christ! What kind of comic book fucking world are we living in?
Well, it's a common.
That's Dr. Doom. That's like, I just defeated all these things. You're welcome, Latvia.
I mean, that's why they came after trans people.
Exactly.
Or trans athletes. There's more people with measles. There's more kids with measles in Texas than there are trans athletes in America. But they're going to worry about.
That fucking hurts.
They're going to worry about trans athletes.
And who the? I'm sorry. If
there's not enough for me to care about.
That's one of the talking points I always hear. Is like, well, I don't want men and women's sports. Are you an avid female? Like, are you in women's sports? No.
I don't want my girl swimming with a guy that's a girl.
Or like, yeah, I don't want men in my daughter's bathroom. Show me one fucking case.
Do you know how many times people tell me
one?
People tell me how there's litter boxes in bathrooms. I'm like, dude, I designed bathrooms for high schools. In grade schools, there's no fucking litter boxes in there. I don't even know how you'd even be able to do that. There's no.
I hate that shit.
Nothing you could do.
It's one person doing something hyperbolic and stupid and eating cats and dogs.
Well, that's
everyone fucking just.
It goes back to the Powell Memorandum and owning the media and being able to push those stories through.
I know.
You only need to get it to go through once, and if it starts making money, and that's just a problem with media in general, like you got to make the news organizations, they have to be able to sell their lubricated catheters, so they got to have the sensationalized story. It's yellow journalism.
I agree.
They're just trying to make money, and all the news stations bid onto it. Journalism failed big time.
I agree,
because yes, there is Fox News, but they sensationalized everything, and now everybody just follows what Fox News does. Because people click and people want to watch.
Because it makes fucking money.
And there's nothing to regulate it. And even regulating it is fucking dangerous too.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I have 2 rules that I tell everyone about, no matter where they're getting information from. Okay, I don't give a shit if you're listening to Fox News. I don't give a shit. I mean, I do, because that means you're stupid. I don't give a shit where you get your stuff from. I need you to look at every fucking source, every website, every source, and say, who actually owns this, not just the website, but who owns the website, who owns the company, and what do they have to gain from telling me this?
Yeah, follow the money. Even like with the papers and stuff like that. Like, with academic papers.
Are there?
With academic papers, like like if you're reading something and you're like 99% of the people are doing this, but this one thing says this. Like, okay, then see who paid for that, because if somebody paid for it, it's going to be in that academic paper. Yes. Like if you have big oil, if like ExxonMobil's paying for that paper, it's probably going to have a certain thing that says it. Says something.
What do they have to gain from it?
Yeah, if was it Richard Morris or whatever, the big tobacco, like
Robert Morris.
If Robert Morris has certain things in it, or if they're paying for this academic paper,
chances are smoking's going to be good for you.
Yeah,
because it increases our stock. I'm sorry, it all comes down to money.
Yes, and follow the money.
To me, that's little boys playing in the sandbox, wanting all the marbles, while everyone else is going, I got shit to do.
Yeah, but everybody's talking about like, dude, like, okay, CEOs and oligarchs, they have the money. They have the spare money.
Yeah.
Elon Musk lost $200 billion and he's still fine.
Isn't that fucked up, by the way? Like that's staggering. But also
lost it. But it doesn't fucking matter. You could have 1 billion. But when you talk to them and they're like, how is the left? We have no money. Like when you look at all metrics that show like where the profits went to, it didn't go to the working class. Their wages have been stagnant since the 70s. The profits gone to the top, and the profitability and everything is skyrocketed. All that money went to a handful of guys, and now they want to cut like USAID and all this stuff. You know what? If you don't want people, if you're upset about paying for a kid's lunch, if you're upset about somebody not having enough money when they retire, if you're upset about people not being able to take care of themselves, then fucking dude, all the money went to the top. Like we need we need our safety nets because there is no money in the system.
Correct.
The only way to get the money back in the system is fucking tax them.
And
trickle-down economics didn't fucking work.
It did not work. And
we've been doing it since the fucking 80s. It didn't work.
Do you see the new shit this week? The IRS sent out a panic notification, said they're estimating that over 50% of the people will probably not pay their taxes this year. That is a massive number.
But it's a tiny number. Because what was the number? It was like...
It's a tiny number in the matter of who owns the money, but IRS's job, their job is to make the country fucking money.
Yeah, it's the only one, and they're cutting them. But if they have too many IRS agents, they can actually audit the higher up people and make them pay. But they don't want that.
And that's why they cut the IRS, because it takes 12 times the amount of time to check a rich person's taxes versus a common person's taxes. Now, then you escalate that up more and more for the ultra rich, right?
Isn't it crazy when you talk to people and like they're just cucks for billionaires?
That blows my fucking mind.
It's like, dude, if you're in a union and you're voting GOP, what the fuck, dude? Now, I will also say, like, the left has completely shit the bed when it comes to this stuff.
Whole fucking heart.
Like,
oh, I have a theory about this.
Did I
tell you about
Bill
this?
Clinton sold out labor. I hate the Clintons probably as much as I hate Trump. Seriously, because they're a huge reason for this. They sold us out. They did NAFTA. All of the labor went all overseas, and all these fucking other people got to make all this money, and all the new investments in America. We're not a service economy. We actually went to the fire sector. We went to finance, insurance, real estate, and technically information would be the last. So it's not like 100% fire.
Information.
Well, it's
fire.
Information. Well, they call it the information sector now, but when they first did it, was called the fire sector.
Yeah.
But like all of that money, like your Warren Buffetts and shit like that, and all those, like they're the ones that now that's how all the money, like if you listen to that podcast, the master plan by The Lever, they say like, it's the left was getting bribes too.
Yeah.
But it was bribes from the fire sector that they're getting. And it was labor who ended up getting fucked over. campaign finance is very much needed in this country. Like that's the way to fix it. And you got to undo Citizens United to do that, and it's possible.
Yes. Fucking agreed there.
But dude, if you vote right, you're really starting to limit on what can happen. I know, like literally sometime today as I was talking to somebody, I saw some shit like my phone's going off and like world events that have never occurred happen multiple times a day
during this episode.
That could be talked about for generations, and that happens multiple times a day. And I know something went through
That's
with voting. I think a thing with voting Trump did.
I heard he dismantled the Department of Education.
Well, it's Department of Education, which is totally fucked up. Remember, he loves the uneducated.
That's my favorite quote, because if you don't understand what that means, you're the problem.
I know. It's really like, it's hard to have a conversation with somebody and you're like, well, you're not educated.
Yeah. And
the people with all the books.
You're a college boy. Yeah, okay, but you bring nothing to the table. Please go away.
You also can't do that either.
No. You should.
I know, but like it's also shitty.
No,
like,
is it? Because if you're not thinking for yourself, and they think they are, but they're not.
I know.
And if you're not, you have nothing to add here. Like, I know this is a shitty comparison, and it does not really work, but it's so in my fucking brain. I'm sorry about this ahead of time for everyone else. I make a lot of videos for my business. I make a lot of content in order to get people to see me as an authority in what I can do. Okay? So when I release a video and someone just chews me up in a comment, they're like, well, this is stupid that you did this and blah, blah, blah. You're a fucking idiot. And then I go to their page, their YouTube page, and they have no videos of their own, or they're like just video game screen captures.
Those people are trolls.
I mean, yeah, but you don't matter. Your opinion doesn't matter because you're not adding to the fucking ethos of, you're not adding to the zeitgeist. You're not adding anything. You're just a fucking leech. You're not adding a comment in order to add a question, add some kind of a challenge to a debate. Maybe this could help. No, you're attacking, and at the same time you're attacking, you're not offering anything. You are coming to my house on Thanksgiving telling me my dinner's shit and you didn't bring anything.
And didn't even eat it.
Yeah. So it's like, I know it's not the same fucking thing, but that's the mentality I have of these people.
You know, I actually, when I was posting shit on Facebook, I intentionally selected a video that wasn't showing all the information that I was talking about, just to see if anybody was gonna comment on it. And I got like all like same fucking bullshit from a lot of the people. They never even watched the video. They're not even watching it. They're reading the tagline and assuming what it says.
They're reading the title.
They're reading the title and they're not even watching.
Yeah.
I think that's huge.
I told you, if it comes, this is a world I fucking know. This is why your thumbnail is the most important part, and this is why your title is the most important part, because even if they don't fucking click on it, that's what they're taking away from it. And that's fucked up. But that's the world we're living in.
Well, then it just eventually devolves to TNA and stuff with the titles.
I know.
Those are going to get all the clicks.
Yeah.
Maybe we just need an EMP to go off, and I hope this ages okay. And just wipe it all out. I don't know. Just get rid of it. Maybe we were happier when we had like social media. I don't think our monkey brains can handle all this.
I said it with you years ago.
But then again,
social media is dead.
Then again, I mean, fascism happened under Germany, but there was more newspapers in Germany in the 1930s than any other country in the world.
Yep.
Well, like per capita or something like that. It was a lot.
Information doesn't make you smarter.
They were all just like pumping out stuff. It was all yellow journalism.
Access to information does not make you smarter. The amount of information does not make you more prepared or more ready for something or more intelligent about a certain topic. the willingness to dig deeper and question why is that information? Why is that thing? Why does it do this? Why? I don't give a shit about the what. The what can be told to me in 1,000 different ways if it all traces back to the same why. It's just fucking clown face paint.
So raise your glass to the lost and found, to the weird, the wise, the whiskey bound, for hearts that bleed and souls that clown. Welcome to Buttertown. Yes, welcome to Buttertown. Well, we talk like saints and we drink like thieves, got scars on our hearts and tricks up our sleeves. The bar stools know our hopes and sins, and the jukebox plays where the truth begins. So raise your glass to the lost and found, to the weird, the wise, the whiskey bound, for hearts that bleed and souls that clown. Welcome to Buttertown. Yeah, welcome to Buttertown. The mayor's a cat and the priest drinks gin. The jukebox broke and we all chipped in. We've had MAGA fucks try to walk on through. We tossed them out with the bar stool too. So raise your glass to the bruised and bold, to the rebels young and the legends old. We don't need kings, we don't wear crowns. Welcome to Buttertown. Your home in Buttertown. There's a seat for the loner, a pint for the shy, a tear for your truths and a wink for your lies. The jukebox don't judge, and neither do we. You speak your mind here and always drink free. So raise your voice if you've been beat down. Been beat down! We're the loudest misfits in this old town. Damn right town. For love, for grief, for breaking ground. Welcome to Buttertown. Sing welcome to Buttertown. Midwest minds with big ass dreams. Honest talk, no clickbait memes. Small town hearts in a world gone cold. We trade dumb takes for stories told. So raise your glass, you rowdy lot, for this weird old world is all we've got. And if you need a bar, a mic or a noun, you're home in Buttertown.